to Saturday Football Live, and it is great to be back in the studio with somebody else here. Last week, obviously, you were stuck with me for an hour, and I appreciate it tuned in. Des, it's good to have you back. I understand that the wee fella was competing, and that obviously takes precedence, but how did it go on?
It was proud father moment. It was absolutely brilliant. So out of the 6 Olympic events that he's involved with, the Scottish Men's Artistic Gymnastics Programme, he got 3 golds and 3 silvers. So you couldn't really ask for any more than that.
I would hope that you would be saying to him, what happened to the 3 silvers? Why don't know 6 golds?
Do you know, to be fair, he was in the car coming home and he was punching the back of his seat. So my wife was Sharon, God bless her, she was like, you need to stop him doing that. But you know,
I think it's good.
I quite like that.
See, as long as it's kind of controlled, it's no anything mad, then I think it's all right. I think you need to have a wee bit of that desire to win.
Yeah,
and being upset when you lose, because see, if you're no upset when you lose, you've probably got a bigger issue.
Oh, absolutely. So that's him now, should be, just waiting for confirmation letter, but we know. So that'll be him getting down to the British Championships again. So he won the under-10s 2 years in a row. He's now moved up to under-12s. And for a 10-year-old winning 3 goals 2 years away.
Nice. He's doing well for himself. It's glad somebody in your family's got some talent behind Sharon and Rui.
That's it.
So this week, obviously, you, me, and Scott Perry will be joining us in the next hour. He's got a game just now, so his game was moved from 10 to 12. So we're second choice.
Who does he play for Fagash United?
The old Nether Craigs. So this week, we've got quite an interesting one. Lowland League, we've got the big derby in the Lowland League at Linlithgow and Bo'ness. Premier League, we've got the Talbert, who are absolutely flying, playing against a resurgent Glenafton, and we'll go through our featured fixtures. But before we get to that, we've just going to give a wee shout out to our sponsors. As always, VSN. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it running along the bottom of the screen. Just get in touch with Gary at VSN. He will sort your team out with any bespoke kit needs, anything else you need. We've been in their warehouse, everything that you could ever imagine and more in there.
It's a lack and scale.
It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
Gary, you still those rucksacks?
He does. He's been avoiding me. But I'm sure we'll get that for him. Another sponsor is Roxburgh Insurance Group. It's great to have the guys on board. If you've got any insurance broker stuff needs, I'm not too well versed in that world. Phone Graham. Graham will sort you. Check them out online. And to GLA Chauffeurs, if you're looking for transport for a stag do or a weekend away, anything like that, get in touch with the guys there. The quality of the vehicles they've got, unbelievable. So
would they do any permanent promotions Christmas night out?
Well, do you know, I could actually speak to Alec and see if that's something they could sort. We could get all the boys together and we could have a nice wee Christmas night out.
That sounds good to me.
That does sound good. Oh, well, we've got a couple of comments coming in. For that afternoon, boys, from sunny Springburn. Thank you, Toby, very much. I hope you have a good game today. Jordan Rennie, the top man, who designed our logos.
Exactly.
You know, Jordan did our logos.
So you get the t-shirt, I've got the quarters up.
That's true. As you can see, I'm sporting the t-shirt. Des has got a lovely quarters up. I've left my quarters up in the house because it's just too warm in here. Jordan says, ready to hear all your top tier insights today. We will be going through it. Jordan, I hope you have a good game at East Kilbride today. And we've got Michael McGill shout out, Maryhill versus Lark Hall. They were dreadful last week. Not like us, been playing really well. Well, Michael, hopefully it's a wee pick-up for Mark and the boys today. So, as always, we're going to move on to PG versus the Pundits. I am 2-1 up for the first 3.
Because that was the year last week.
It was a 3-0 walkover because you and Scott were far too busy to hang about with me. So I get the 3-0 walkover. 2-1. I have one.
Clutching at straws.
Like this, you don't turn up, you can't win. So I am now.
Well, if you're not in the game, you can't lose.
No, it does. If you don't turn up, you don't win, right? Don't you worry about it. I'm doubled the amount of wins I had last season, so it's been a good start to the season for me. But this week, in the featured fixtures, the Lowland League, we have Linlithgow versus Bo'ness. In the West Premier League, we have Auchinleck, Talbot and Glenafton. In the First Division, Cumbernauld versus St Rochs. Second Division, the Thorne versus Lesmahago. Third Division, we have Port Glasgow and Glasgow Uni. And in the Fourth Division, we have Eglinton and Carluke. So I think we've got quite a few really good games.
Yeah.
Top of the 3, Linlithgow Bo'ness will be a cracker for multiple reasons. And then you look further down, you look at Port Glasgow and Glasgow Uni, 2 of the top teams in the Third Division. Eglinton. Bit of a surprise package in the 4th Division playing against high-flying Carluke. I've got Scott's predictions. He sent me them yesterday. He's given me his, but I've told him that you're going to overrule it if you see it differently. So you guys are going up first. Scott has gone for Linlithgow and the Linlithgow Bonus Derby. What's your thoughts on it?
I will side with Scott on that one. I think it was a tight game. One of my ex-players, Rowan Fitzpatrick, is doing absolutely, he's tearing up. Bonus, he's doing well. But I just think Linlithgow going to be a bit too much quality for them. Particularly playing the line at home, the Preston Fields. I think that Linlithgow will win that one.
I'm going to agree with you. They've played 7-1-6, lost 1, and that loss came against Gallifrey on opening day of the season. I don't know if you'd heard that last week, or if anybody watching last week had tuned in. Linlithgow could be getting the 3 points for that game. Gallifrey played an ineligible player as far as I'm aware, and it could be a 3-0 walkover for Linlithgow, which would take them to 7 wins out of 7, 21 points. Bonus dropping points to Clydebank during the week, which in itself is absolutely nothing wrong with that, particularly at home park. 2-0 to Clydebank. Obviously, derbies have a wee different feeling. Both teams are playing really well just now, picking up a lot of points. That was Bonus's first defeat during the week there against Clydebank. Because it's at Prestonfield, I'm going to edge it with Linlithgow. I'm going to agree with yourself and Scott.
Yeah, I think it'll be very tight. Bonus have made a really, really good start to the season. Linlithgow, also a massive powerhouse in the East, and they want to go. Clydebank are hot on their tails. I would still expect Bonus to be in and around it, in and around it this season, but I just think at Prestonfield, Linlithgow at home, got that wee bit of momentum. Yeah, I'm going to Linlithgow.
The next match, Auchinleck Talbot and Glenafton. I'm going to go for the Talbot. I don't think that'll be a massive surprise to anybody. Scott has also done the same, and I imagine in a moment's time when it's your turn, you will do the same also. But Glenafton, we're going to hear from Paul Payton later on. It was good to speak to Paul the other day there. Glenafton sitting in 3rd place, 4 wins, 1 draw, 1 defeat, and it's a testament to Paul and his management team and the players that last season they finished reasonably well. They managed to pick up enough points to keep themselves safe, and it looked comfortable later on in the season. But this start's been really impressive for them, and I do think they'll cause the Talbot issues. But at Beechwood Park, I don't see any way past the Talbot, who scored 26 in 6 games, only conceding 6 goals. It's really hard to see past them. So I'm going to go for the Talbot, just like Scott has. What are you going for yourself, Des?
Yeah, well, I can't go against that. I don't think in my, not living memory, but in my long-term memory over the past 10 years, I don't think I've ever seen Talbot start the season so quickly and so bright and scoring goals and being so action, because we always tend to, we know that Talbot are involved in cup competitions, we know they've got numerous things going on, but they've hit the ground running. I think Luke Main has been an absolute sensational signing for them.
Scored a good goal last week as well. But you say that the Talbot, the last 2 years in particular, notoriously slow starters, but finished very strongly.
So that's what I'm saying. So if they're starting fast,
exactly. They can continue that. I know it's hard to see past them.
Yeah.
Moving on to our 1st Division fixture, there's Cumbernauld against St Roch. St Roch's absolutely flying at the start of the season. Cumbernauld always a tricky team to beat though. What's your thoughts on it?
We just spoke about off air, and I'm really impressed with the way St Roch's have started. Cumbernauld, I mean, you go to Cumbernauld, the pitch is bumpy. Don't get me wrong, the Roch's pitch is quite bumpy as well. That could be an evener. But I think St Roch's have got the momentum, and I think if I'm going to pick an away win of these games that we've got today, I would got to fancy the Roch. I just think they've got a wee bit of momentum behind them. Cumbernauld can always be a wee bit sticky. Home pitch, should it make the advantage? Probably should, but I just think the Roch are a wee bit of, and they finished last season well as well. So I'm going for the Roch.
Scott also went for the Roch, so that'll be the Roch for you guys. Now, for me, the Roch last week. That was a really impressive result against an informal Drawson team, beating them 3-0 comfortably. They've won every game pretty comfortably, excluding the first game of the season against Clyde. But you know, that's a local derby. That's a tight game, and John always says his team's really difficult to beat at Clyde. On the other hand, Cumbernauld have been a bit stop-start, but in 4 games at home, they've no lost yet. They've won 3. Yep, won 3, drawn 1. I do believe that the Roch will win this today. They just seem to be flying, scoring 16 in 5 games, only conceding 4. Everything's looking like it's in their favour. So I will go for the Roch, but I do believe it will be a trickier match than some might anticipate.
Yeah, I don't think for any manner of means it'll be an easy game. It'll be hard fought, and it'll be quite a dogged game at certain points. But like we're saying, I think the Roch have just got that bit of momentum behind them, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the Roch in the top 2, top 3 this season going up. Well,
I've spoke to Ian Kennedy, the St Roch's manager, yesterday as well, and I've asked him about how he feels the squad is equipped to win the league. So we'll listen to that later on in the show. But I do understand what you're saying. I think that this could be the season that they might be top 3.
Yeah.
Ironically, it's the season that probably doesn't matter if they finish top 3, but I do believe that they could finally be up there. Moving on to the second division, we've got Thorne Athletic and Linlithgow. This is a really interesting one for me. The Thorne back-to-back promotions, looking at back-to-back-to-back promotions, which I'm fairly certain they'll get based on the top 8 going up.
It's Thorne the new Wrexham.
That's exactly what I was thinking about. The back-to-back-to-back. Well, they won't get back-to-back-to-back this year anyway. Thorne have got a much better chance than Wrexham do. Linlithgow obviously being pretty much Darrell's Lanark team for last season, who got themselves promoted out of this division. They've got experience. They're undefeated. A win today takes them above the Thorne with 2 games in hand. It's really interesting. This is probably one of the harder ones to call for me, but I am going to go for Linlithgow today. Scott has gone for... Let me set it up. Scott has gone for the Thorne. So what do you think on it is?
I totally agree with the way Darrell's went about it and taking his own team with him. Thorne being a progressive team. I don't want to sit in the fence, right? Because I'll back Scott or I'll back myself. I think this is the biggest draw that's sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the biggest draw that's sitting there. I think Thorne are a fantastic progressive team. What Darrell's done since he went in there, they've not lost a game.
Mm-hmm.
So scored 11 -6, Thorne scored 13 -7. So they're very similar. Personally, I'm going to go a draw.
Yep.
But if it's Scott and me together, he's went for Thorne.
You get to trump him. I've told Scott that you get to trump him because you're in the studio for the segment. So it's your call.
I'm going to draw.
You're going for a draw. Draw is then that's the first deviation we have for each other. Moving on to the third division, the beautiful Port Glasgow are playing Glasgow Uni, second and third playing against each other. Potentially we could be looking at either of these teams, if with a win, could be top of the league because Dalry in first are playing Knightswood in fourth today. So this is easily the most exciting set of fixtures in the setup today. Top 4 all playing each other in the third division. Really interesting. With your Craig Martin, your Ardea, and even your Glenvale to an extent, and Glasgow United just sitting below that wee pack. But I went first, so this is on you. The Port or Glasgow Uni?
You're going to love this. I'm going to say the Port. I think Port at home are a very, very difficult team to beat. They score lots of goals. The difficulty is they do concede a few, but I think Tam this year, I know he's looking to keep up his defence, but you just can't stop them scoring. And if you're scoring goals, you're always going to potentially win games. So, yeah, I'm going for the Port.
Scott has agreed with you, but I would tend to agree also, just because I'm not really going to go against them. But I think this could be a 4 each or 5 each type game. Let's get one of them in it. The two teams both score goals. Between the two of them in the first 6 games, they've got 40 goals. The beat for the Port defensively have been a bit more sound than Glasgow Uni, but granted, Glasgow Uni had that 8-1 defeat to to Dorai, which obviously impacts the amount of goals they've conceded. Only had 4 in the other 5 games. But I'm going to go with a Port on this one. I think it'll be really tight, but I'll go with a Port. Final game, Eglinton and Carluke. Scott has gone for a draw in this game. I'm going to go for Carluke. I think that Eglinton have been excellent this season. The only 2 teams, both those teams and Royal Albert still undefeated. We could be looking at one of their undefeated records coming to an end today. Carluke 6 out of 6. Eglinton winning 4, drawing 2. But with the impressive result over Irvine Vicks recently as well, coming from behind to get the win there, I'm going to go for Carluke. I think that they are really, really in form. Tam's got them playing very well, and for me, it's going to be an away win with Carluke. As I said, Scott has gone for the draw in this one, Des, so what's your thoughts?
Well, just to keep things interesting, I'm going to go Eglinton, because if Eglinton, and this is where I'm going to, this is going to be a test for Eglinton, right? So if Eglinton can, excuse me, get my words mixed up, my tongue quick there. If Eglinton can produce a result against that Irvine Vicks, this is a test of character. If they can't do this at home, they can do it against a local rival away from home. Now they're at home, Carluke, yes, as much as Carluke are flying, I think this is the biggest test Eglinton are going to face. And if Eglinton want to any chance of getting promotion, want to get amongst it, this is really need to go. So do you know what, I'm putting my faith in them. And if they want to be a realistic challenger to win this league and to move up and show their character, they need to win this game. So I'm going to put my money where Eglinton.
Excellent. Well, I think this is going to be an interesting day in the 4th division, because we have Royal Albert and Irvine Vicks playing each other today as well.
Yeah.
At Gasworks Park.
Is that the Energy Field
Stadium? It is the Energy Field Stadium. It is indeed. And we have East Kilbride. I'm just having a wee look here. Who are East Kilbride playing? Can't see them. Oh no, sorry, they're playing St Peters an early kick-off. That's a 1:30 kick-off today. They're another team who are sitting right up there, who you fancy to, based on current form for St Peters. I wouldn't be holding out a great deal of hope for St Peters against East Kilbride today, but you never know. It's a bit of a journey for East Kilbride to get down to Largs. It might be St Peters Day. So, PG versus the Pundits. First game, Linlithgow Bonus, we're both going Linlithgow. Second game, Talbot and Glenafton, both going to Talbot. Third game, Cumbernauld versus St Roch's, we're both going for the Roch. And in the 4th game, the Thorne versus Lesmahago, I've gone for Lesmahago, you guys have gone for the draw. The 5th game, Port versus Glasgow Uni, both gone for Port Glasgow. And in the 6th game, Eglinton and Carluke, I've gone for an away win with Carluke, and you've gone for the home win with Eglinton, which I think it's going to make for an interesting day. We could be looking at, will you pull it back to 2-2, or will I extend my lead? Will I extend my lead, Des?
Do you want a McDonald's milkshake and just go and clutch at a straw?
Honestly, Des, I don't know why you're being this way. It's
wait to the quiz.
It was the quiz that you have complete control over and you can absolutely do is over. We're going to wait for Scott to come for the quiz, so the quiz will be a wee bit later today. But moving back to the Lowland League, the big game, Linlithgow Bonus. We covered it last year near the end of the season. It was such a massive game. Linlithgow, both teams seem to be really adapting to the Lowland League. The Lowland League's getting stronger every season, and these teams are adapting. Now, you look at your top 3, they're all your junior sides. Linlithgow, Clydebank, Bonus, they're all your ex-junior sides. And then you've got Celtic, Cumbernauld. Cumbernauld coach, really good job Doyley's down there. I think he's really impressive. And then Bonnyrigg, Gareth Erridine and Broxburn. You're looking at not so much an even split. You've got most of your ex-junior teams in that area, or your more established teams. Again, we spoke before about your legacy SPFL 2 teams. I mean, not a single one of them. I'm excluding Bonnyrigg for that because they've obviously gone up and come back down, but not one of them who has come down is in the top half of the league. Because that must be quite concerning for these sides.
I think, yes, it'd be concerning for those teams that are coming down, but I think it just shows, unfortunately, how long Scottish football stagnated and allowing these teams to be part of that top tier echelon,
Yep.
because these teams are now showing ambition. I mean, Clydebank, Linlithgow, Bo'ness, Bonnyrigg, who've also been up there, Cowdenbeath have been up there. Cowdenbeath are the only team in the top 10, take it back down, top 12, while we know those. They're the only team that are in amongst it. And they're not exactly killed themselves in massive low. They're playing 9, they've only won 4 games. So they won less than 50% of the matches that they've played in. I think it's refreshing to see our teams at our level forcing their way back up there and saying they've been stagnated. Now, when Lithgow and Clydebank and Bo'ness, Bonnyrigg who've been there, they're showing massive ambition to be there. And do you know what? In my opinion, they will go up and they'll stay there.
I think that we obviously know Clydebank. Everybody knows Clydebank have previously been a top flight side, and as recent as 30, 35 years ago, they've been a top flight side who have the fan base. Fan base might not be what it was, but now after the show last week, went and caught the second half of their game again. Well, just kind of 50 odd minutes of their game against Berwick Rangers last week, and the crowd's great. I mean, the weather wasn't very good. You probably still had 400-500 people there, and no many of them were Berwick Rangers fans. And it shows Clydebank, if you play Linlithgow, Clydebank playing Linlithgow on a Saturday, or playing Bo'ness on a Saturday, you know you're getting 700, 800, 900, 1,000 people. Exactly. You're going to get a good turnout, and it shows these teams are better prepared. Something we've known for years. These teams are better prepared to be higher up the divisions than Albion Rovers, than East Stirling, Berwick Rangers. These teams are just going to have to, unless they can find something in them to go back up, they're just going to have to accept that that's where they are and that's their level.
Yeah, no, what Clydebank have got in place, and Grace, and the business model they've got in place, they attract not just good players, they attract fans. And you can attract fans, there's money coming in the gate. And if there's money coming in the gate, you attract sponsors. You attract sponsors, money coming in the gate, and then you can attract better players. So, yeah, I've got no doubt that Clydebank and what they want to do and the model that they're looking at, they're everything but in name a senior team.
Exactly. Just that question from Michael McGill. So Michael's asked, is it the top 8 in the Premier that go up to the new setup next season? He's hearing different opinions. Our understanding is it will be the top 8 who have the license. Top 8 licensed teams will go up. As far as I'm aware, if Clydebank go up, then there could be an extra. There could be a potential further place. But again, it also depends on licensing.
Yeah.
It's like I was saying too many instances there. But it also depends on the license for clubs in the south of Scotland and who get promoted for there, depending on how many numbers. But I would base it off, Michael, of 8 teams going up. That's the assumption we're working on right now until something changes. So that's kind of where we're going with it. Back to the Lowland League. Des, you're right when you're saying these teams are well equipped for it, and I wonder how long it will take for a previously relegated team, excluding Bonnyrigg, previously relegated team to get themselves back up. It could be years, if ever.
Yeah, obviously Bonnyrigg are the ones that are in the prime seat because they've been there, they've got the license, they've been through this process. Looking further down, obviously Celtic B can. Trement, be honest, see out with the first half dozen teams. You take Celtic B out of it. I can't really see it.
Nah,
I can't. And I would love to see teams at our level in the West of Scotland, and I would love to see have that opportunity to go back up. Are they equipped to do it? I don't know. At this moment in time, nah.
You look at East Kilbride getting promoted into the second division. They lost to Spartans in the first day. Spartans are a good side who, for what I had heard, played them well. They allowed them to have the ball, press them, and as soon as Spartans won the ball back, they hit quickly. Took their chances. Since then, East Kilbride have won every game, and it shows the quality that this league has.
Yeah,
I mean, granted, they were by and far the best team in the league last season, but it shows the quality in this level. And I think that the Lone League is really, it's almost sad that it's going to, for my opinion, it's almost sad that it's going to change next year, because it looks like the Lone League's starting to get to what it was supposed to be.
And what it's going to do is it's going to split and take teams an extra year to get where they want to be, and then they have to fight off against one another.
Do you know, I don't see that. For me, I don't really see it that way, though. It's, see, when it splits, you've got more teams to the east and west have got a chance to progress, but you're still playing 2 games.
Exactly, and it's going to create a bottleneck at the top to get those teams in.
But you're still playing, in terms of promotion, for me, it doesn't really change anything, because you look at, for talking say as it stands, Linlithgow in the league, if they were to win the league, go and play the winners of the Highland League, which will obviously happen this year, play them home and away.
They'll beat them.
But they play them home and away, the winner of the 2 games gets promoted. It's not really much difference now with when it changes to the east and west, because you just go and play 1 game against the winner of the east and 1 game against the winner of the north if you're in the west, and west, you play the west and then north if you're in the east. So you're still playing 2 games. You've still got, it's only 2 games. It's a round robin. You do not, it's nothing that's harder about it. It's just 2 games.
It's not harder, but if you win that league, you should.
Oh, 100%. That's a given. That's an absolute given.
Saying. It's just like, it's a bottleneck. Why create those extra games? If you win that league, you should be off.
That's a guarantee. You should be the top 3. The winners of those 3 leagues should go up. I think that's an absolute given. But we've got the issue with the SPFL. We're rumoured to be looking at creating League 2 as an 8-team league with invitations to the teams going up. Obviously, that's not happening now, but that was the strong rumours to get your Cowdenbeath, your Berwick, your Eastland, all these teams back in, which is quite clearly an absolute farce. But
and as we say, these legacy clubs, but these legacy clubs equipped to go back into that level? Of course they're not. No. And that's why you're seeing where they are in the league. It's now becoming transparent that where you are is where you deserve to be.
You always find your level.
Of course.
I mean, you look at East Stirling since 18, 4 points from 9 games.
And how long did East Stirling sit at the bottom of SPFL 2?
Did they not have 4 or 5 year spell where it was just them finishing bottom? I mean, that's, for me, it's, granted, we've got small improvements now that we're having teams who are going to get the chance to stay up. But look, we're going to go for a short break, and we'll be back after some ads. Make sure if you want to get in touch with us, then don't hesitate. You can get us on WhatsApp at 07396717412. That's 07396717412. Or you can get us on Sat Football Live, or you can get us in the comments section on YouTube, which we've already had a few questions coming in. So don't hesitate to ask us anything you want to ask myself, Des, and Scott when he gets here. You know, we're an open book, sometimes a bit too open. We're always happy to answer. We've got plenty more to come. We'll get interviews to some managers, and then all the games will be kicking off in the next half hour. So we'll be right back after the Scott Perry when he gets here, if he ever gets here. That's the song, do you remember that? I'll see you when you get there. Don't worry about it. Don't you worry about it. I thought your music knowledge was good. I know I'm a bad singer, right? But don't worry about it.
When I get back to it, I'm 80s, 90s kind of guy.
That's a 90s song. That is. Definitely is, right? If anybody was able to decipher the nonsense I was singing there, then you can give us a shout on 07396717412. That's 07396717412. Or you can get us on X and Instagram at Sat Football Live or in the comments section on YouTube. So we are going to go back, Des, to Linlithgow Bonus, the big one, first against third in the Lowland League. I actually got a message from Stevie Dugan for Clydebank. The attendance against Berwick was 731. So that's
outstanding.
It's a very good attendance. You'll be hard pressed to have many better attendances in the league or two above.
I would say that's probably championship first.
Depending if you get one of the bigger teams in the first at home, you probably get.
Clydebank will have a massive home following everywhere, and they will take a massive home grown away. So yeah, that was brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. If I wasn't stuck in a Ravenscraig Sports Centre on a seat with no cushion, no back, having to pay 20 quid for me to go and watch my son participating, and we actually worked out it was about 30 seconds per event for 6 hours.
It's horrible, isn't it? We spoke about this during the week. At least with football, you know when it starts, you know how long it's going to go for, and you know when it finishes. Best sport in the world. Gymnastics, it's great to see Finn do well, but I don't know if I'll ever be overly into gymnastics.
I've got to pay for the privilege to take him to Talbert in November.
I don't know if there'll be many people be happily paying to go to Talbert, to be honest with you. Right, moving on to the West of Scotland Premier League. We're back to league action after the Scottish Communities Cup. Is that what we're calling the old Junior Cup now?
Yeah,
the Scottish Communities Cup. After last week, Talbot won in that again. They seem borderline unstoppable just now. Their massive 5-1 win against Troon a couple of weeks ago. Troon scoring first and only upsetting the Talbot. They scored 26 and conceded 6 in those 6 games. But today's opponents, Glenafton, have been excellent. 4 wins, 1 draw, 1 defeat. I'm really impressed with how they've started this season. I thought they would be a top 8 team. I think we all predicted that they would be up there, but I didn't expect them to be this close. And to be honest, I still think I'm going to go away the Talbot to win the league. But if Glenafton beat them today and Troon can get a win, it becomes a much more exciting affair and it keeps it really tight at the top. But again, if Troon drop points and the Talbot win, you're opening that gap and it becomes big.
And I agree with you. I think Glenafton have had a really, really good start. But the most impressive thing for me is I think the way Talbot started is almost like a juggernaut. They're just steamrolling teams. The biggest game for me today is Troon away to Drum. That's the big game for me in this Premier League. And I know Hopi, and obviously we both know Hopi. If Troon can jump on that, then I think Troon will be right in there. But going back to Talbot and Glenafton, yes, I think Talbot will win. And that'll just cement the way that they've started the season. I think it'll just continue.
Well, before we go to hear Paul Payton, the Glenafton manager's thoughts on today's game, Midtown Sheriff, always the man to help us out. So we had the question from Michael McGill about how many teams are going up. So Midtown Sheriff has given us a bit more of a detailed answer. The Lowland League West will be made up of the existing 5 Lowland League teams from the west of the country: Clydebank, Cali Braves, Cumbernauld Colts, Albion Rovers and Gretna. Plus, the remaining place will be filled by Celtic, which takes you to 6.
Hearts will go to the east.
Hearts will go to the east. And if they take up their option 2 from the SOFL, the South of Scotland League, then the remainder will be so basically it's looking like 2 could go up for the South of Scotland and then 8. So we're pretty much
top 8.
we're top 8, could be top 9 if Clydebank can win the league.
Oh,
So
that was the assumption that we always had.
Aye, that's it. So thanks for the proper update there, Midtown Sheriff, as always. So we're going to go to Paul Payton, manager of Glenafton. Asked Pates, how do you feel that the start of the season is it come from him being able to put his stamp on the team? Obviously, we touched on how the start of the season, or last season, wasn't he brilliant? He's come in, he steadied the ship, built on it a wee bit, and then this season they really look like they've taken off. So I've asked him how he feels about that, is it putting a stamp on it, and what are they expecting from the Talbot and how they're preparing for it. So here's what Pates had to say on it. I just realised I've had my buttons up all day, Des. I've not been doing this particularly well. So we'll hear.
You're not touching somebody's button.
Des, do you know what? I'm hoping I've not messed this up because I've been focusing on other stuff. So let's hear what Paul Payton has to say on it.
I think obviously it's been a good start to the season. I think it helped me this year that I had a full pre-season with the boys. Fair play to Ryan Caddis, he signed some good players last summer. Obviously I've tweaked things a bit. I've brought some of my own players in. They've added a lot to us in terms of Lee Bunkinson, Cam Wilson. Boys like that have been great for me so far. Blair Anderson, I could go on and on. I'm happy with all my recruits, to be honest. I think they've done well. I think we set our stall out early doors in pre-season. We played Queen of the South, we played Partick Thistle. So we played teams that were going to have a lot of the ball, and I think we identified how we were going to press as a team. 3 big things I'm big on. Obviously standards, mentality and hard work, and I think the boys have bought into that. They bring the hard work every week. The standards are raising, and obviously when that happens, then you then get your winning mentality. So we're happy, but at the same time, it's been a good start. But we've achieved absolutely nothing. We're still third in the league. We're in the cups, yes, but nothing's handed out at this point in the season. We need to keep winning games, and obviously there's no bigger game than Saturday. We went there last year, and we get battered. To be honest with you, we know how Tucker's going to set his team up. They're going to be fit. They're going to be big. They're going to score goals. They're going to defend well. They're probably the most complete team that I've seen since I've managed in the juniors. They've caused us the most bother. Their running power, but obviously they buy into what the manager wants from them. Even me growing up, I would always remember Talbot winning the most, or it certainly felt like they were winning the most things. Tucker's won it all. A lot of his players have won it all. So obviously we've just inherited one, and Craig McCracken, he's the same. He's won it all. You can see his mentality. So I can see where the players get it from. It's always their manager. So we're well aware what they're going to bring, and hopefully this year they notice a different Glenafton coming to town.
Something that he said that sticks for me, and it's something I believe wholeheartedly, and I think it's completely right. At this level, there's no massive difference in terms of, I suppose, at every level, when you play in a league, there's not always a big difference in standard, but mentality, mindset, effort, which for me, effort's obviously a given, or it should be a given. Yeah, it should be a given, but it's not always. And he's saying that's something that they're big on, is the work rate. But then he conversely talks about the Talbot and the qualities they have. And that for me is the big thing. It's like that they're so dominant in terms of how hard they work and how they enforce themselves on the game, and then you add in the quality they've got. That's why they win so many games.
Yeah, but I think if you go back to what Paul said, these 3 drivers that he's asking for of his team, that's an absolute mirror image of Paul Payton as a player. and that's what done. And I'm not being disrespectful to Paul, and I know Paul, I've called Paul a friend. I think Paul would say that he got the absolute maximum out of his career because of his desire, his ambition, and his work rate. And that's what you've got to have at this level. Now, Talbot, to go back to it again, will reflect to what it says with Tom Sloan and Tucker and his team. That's what Talbot have every single year. They're relentless. And because of who Talbot are, they can then attract the better players if you were to say to Luke Main, we'll just use him as an example, right? He's been at Pollock, a very high standard club, who weren't achieving very much at that moment in time. He's went to Kilbride. Things, for whatever reason, didn't work out there, and he's leaving. If you offer Luke Main to Pollock, to Talbot, to Darvel, or Johnson Borough, who are you going to pick? No, I'm going to go to Talbot. And that's the attraction that they hold, because they know that they're going to be achieving for leagues, achieving for cups, achieving potentially promotion in there. It's no disrespect to anybody else, but that's just the angle that they own with.
I think you're completely right. It's funny you go back to talking about Paul Payton as a player. The last time I played against Paul, I got sent off for volleying him because I was playing centre mid, which I wasn't a centre mid, and he was running me ragged. And it was the only way I could get him to stop, so I just smashed him and then get sent off. So
I remember Paul was with. I remember. I refereed Paul when he was at Thistle, and I refereed Paul when he was at Dundee United. And say he's a local boy to where I live, and we bump into each other every so often in Tesco. I actually tried to sign him for Maida. I tried to tap him up, but he's a great guy. He's made the most of his career, fantastic career. And you know what? I don't think Linlithgow's the last on his managing.
No, I think he's got enough.
And he's got a brilliant assistant with him who we took. It was Alan Muir.
He was another top player.
Oh,
never achieved anywhere near what he should have.
Oh, he slippers on when he passed the ball.
No,
he was the best player in training.
He was brilliant.
You know? I think Paul Payton's got a rich career ahead.
I think his background, obviously being a Northern Irish internationalist, played in the Premier League. He's got enough calibre that we've spoken about this before on the show. I think it was particularly to us and Johnny spoke about it, where clubs, for me, don't give enough young managers for this level the opportunities to go higher. I think it's borderline scandalous how seldom it happens. And it only generally happens if somebody's played at a higher level and then come down to manage, and they get the opportunity to go back up, whereas there's so much quality. But he's got what seems to be a good blend of both. Played at the highest level in this country, and he's got a good mix in both. So I believe if he continues this season, then he could get a move up. I don't know what he's talking about, though, that Lee Duncanson's a good signing. I'm not sure about that. But that's what he says. In the Premier League, we touch on Troon and Drumchapel 2nd and 5th today. What are you expecting for that? Did Troon bounce right back? Or the Drum can be quite a funny side because they've got enough quality to beat anybody on their day. But can we get the Troon of the start of the season bouncing right back after the Talbot defeat?
And that's what I'm saying. I think this is the game of the day. It's really, really intriguing. Drum at home on the Rascal pitch. Troon taking that defeat last week. Hope will have his team busting at the Gunnels out there. I think this will tell a lot about Troon.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is quite a. I don't want to go for a draw. But I think after that defeat last week, I think I can see a Drumchapel win today.
Very possible. Look, we'll come back to the Premier League when Scott's in. We'll go through all the divisions in more detail. Let's move on to the First Division. Cumbernauld and St Roch's. We've spoken already about how St Roch's 100% record, only team in the league who've won all 5 games or won all other games against Cumbernauld, who are a good home side on a bumpy park at Guy's Meadow. The Roch, used to that at Jimmy McGrory Park. We're not going to kid on that that's a bowling green there, even though it's improved over the years. This could be a really interesting game. I think St Roch's will be right up for it. Nizzy and Doles will be getting their team really up for it. But if the Roch have any intentions of trying to win the league, you've got to win games like this.
Yeah, this is it. It's two teams who play in similar surfaces. So the Roch are on a great run. Absolutely great run. I mean, what's that? They've scored 16, lost 4. They've got the best goal difference in the league.
That defensive number for me is something that's really important.
Yeah, because they're scoring goals. I mean, they've scored the exact same amount of goals as Gap Cairn, who are flying at the top, and they've played the game less. Cumbernauld are always a difficult team to play against. They're always stuffy, but they've got a minus goal difference as well. And the Roch are playing. I fancy the Roch to win this quite comfortably, to be honest.
Which quite comfortably.
2-1 by 2, 2-0, 3-1.
Right, we're going to hear from St Roch's manager Ian Kennedy. We touched on it a wee bit when we were going through the PG versus the Pundits. Are St Roch's equipped to win the league? It's one of those ones where are they going to have enough to go and challenge? Kendall touches a bit on this in this question, a bit about finances as well, which was something I wasn't too aware of. So we'll hear what Kendall has to say on whether St Roch's are equipped enough to win the league.
Obviously, I wouldn't say anything other than I do believe that, because I've got all the faith in the world in the players and what they're showing us at this moment in time. What I would say is that there's obviously bigger hitters than us in this league. The Gatcairns and Meda and even Rob Roy and all these bigger clubs with even Whitlets for that, whose budgets are just, compared to ours, they're astronomical. Now, I mean, people will say that St Roch's you've got this big budget and all the rest of it. I would assure anybody we're probably down there in the bottom 4 or 5 on budget. So are we equipped as the rest? On paper, probably no. People will say that Meadows and Gatcairns and that are equipped better than us. But I don't believe that. I believe that we've got a team that's capable of beating anybody on the day. And if we can keep the consistency up and take each game at a time, the old cliche, but if we do that, I think we've got enough. So the answer to it is our squad equipped to do it. I do believe that. We have got we've let a couple go, and we probably need to fill the wee gaps in the next couple of weeks or so. And if we can do that, I believe we can. We've got a squad that I believe in. So everybody at this moment in time is all fighting for the same thing. And even in training, our tempo's really, really good. Everybody wants to be part of it. Everybody's there. But you know what it's like at the start of the season? It's always fresh, and new players in, and there's always that wee buzz. And once the buzz goes, that's when you find out the real characters. At this moment in time, we've got a squad who's won 5 out of 5. They're all buzzing and all the rest of it. But the character will be tested when we get beaten. We all know that will happen at some point. So when that happens is when I'll find out if that squad's equipped.
Well, I like what he says there, that it's... What are you doing? You all right? You all right? Everything all right? I like what he says there, that there's that buzz, that initial buzz, and you've been there. Teams, when you've got into them, I know he's not just getting into them, but at the start of the season, you might get that lift and that buzz. But then when you start to get into your Octobers, your Novembers, your Decembers, and the weather's turning, and the dark nights are coming in at training, and you can't really be bothered with it.
Kids are crying.
Exactly. It becomes a different matter. And that's kind of what I was getting at a bit with the Roch. Do they have the staying power for this? Because I believe Gatcairn do. I think that they're definitely in the position to go and win it. And they're still favourites, which Kendall would agree with, to win the league. But do St Roch's have enough about them to be able to see it through? I
agree with you that I think Gatcairn have definitely got the quality and the staying power. And with Ryan and Dak in there, also Dan Barr, I don't know Dan Barr personally, also know the other two guys. They will be demanding high standards and ensuring. What I thought was really positive there for Kennedy was that the boys are turning up at training. They're buzzing. They want to be there. Now it's very easy if you've not been involved in the team. Maybe you're a sub or you're getting 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but they're there. We watched the way they played last season. We've seen the way they progressed and sort of held themselves. I genuinely think St Roch's are a challenger this year. I genuinely do, and I really do hope that they are there and they continue their progression, because I think St Roch's would be a great addition to the Premier League next year, because the ground that they have, the following that they have, the atmosphere that they create, I think it'd be a great addition to the Premier League.
I agree. I think that Obviously, we're going to get a bit different next season, and it almost feels like it's not the real Premier League because of the West Premier. The best teams are moving up.
It's the new Premier League.
It's not got the same feeling to it. But St Roch's are a team who I think would add a lot as a club to the level. They're a historically well established club. The fan base is different for a lot of fan bases. They try things a different way, and it would be really interesting to see them coming up. But you're looking at fixtures today. The Meda are playing against Whitlets, who are bottom. Whitlets had a real tough time at it. That's a good opportunity for the Meda to get back to winning ways and close the gap at the top. Thornleywood playing Kilburn, a game that you think that they should go and win. They pick up some more points as well. Ardrossan as well, a team who have been having a really good season, playing against what's probably a tricky fixture against Petershill. There's interesting games in there. And then you've got, down the bottom end of the table, Benb and Darvel. Gordon Robertson, Budgie McGee in it. At Benb, something that we spoke about a couple of weeks ago. You were going for the more old head approach, which has come in. We'll see if you're right, and if I'm wrong. I thought that wasn't the way to go. But
I just thought that for my thinking there, and also Gordon and Budgie getting in, I think the way Benb have went the past couple of years, it just needs somebody who can control it. Listen, let's just hit the stop button here. We've been going down. Hit the stop button, reset, and come back up. I just felt that if you bring a young manager in, I was going to say if you brought you and me in, but we're not young anymore.
Whoa, I'm still a young manager. I'd be a young manager. I'm only in my 30s. You would be edging towards more experienced as a manager.
Experienced. To be fair, when you bring you in with me anyway.
No, that's how it went so poorly for you before.
I know, probably. In fact, you know what, I would bring you in with we did 2 years ago. But I just thought if you went with a young manager coming in, they would have. I hate the word philosophy. I absolutely hate the word. They would think, this is where I want to play football. Let's get out of the back. Let's get down the sort of new fashion route. I just think the Ben's being a traditional club, had to go back to basics. And you know what? Let's stop losing goals. Let's start scoring goals and just pick up a point.
Do you think that Gordon Robertson's the man for that? No, Budgie McGee's obviously got a lot of experience.
I'm quite surprised it's not the other way around.
Budgie's not been a manager for a long time though.
I know. I mean, Gordon was at Yoka or what? Got the cup final, was that 3
seasons ago?
3 seasons ago. Listen, nothing against Gordon. Gordon's a lovely guy. I think I don't know. I can't say no. I don't think it's the wrong appointment. That's to say. I was maybe quite surprised that that's who they went down the route of. There was a couple of other people I thought might have. But listen, I wish Gordon all the best. Wish Budgie all the best. Because the Bens don't. The Bens aren't a team that should be in that position.
No, they're free falling just now, and it's one that you're right. They probably wouldn't want to be in this position. Going to move on to our final interview of the afternoon. Thorne Athletic against Linlithgow. We spoke about it already when we were going through the PG versus the Pundits. The Thorne have been, for me, such a breath of fresh air at this level. I think that they have brought something new to it. They have really added quality to the level. The way they go about it, everything they do, I mean, the way they're trying to build the park, they're trying to involve the youth club in the whole setup. Everything's just geared towards progression, and they're building themselves a decent following.
It's a community.
And it's excellent to see. And they've had quite a few managers in the last few years through different circumstances, but replaced them internally with guys who it's been seamless how they've come in. And David Watt's no different. I mean, that was a tremendous season last season for them. And playing against Linlithgow, who are an established team who are very much an up and down side, but playing against Darryl Meeko's Linlithgow might be a different matter this season.
Yes, Thorne are probably the closest team to, between them and Johnson Borough, probably the closest team to where I live. Not closest team to my heart, obviously, because my heart.
Glasgow.
But it's really good to see now. My son plays locally in the local district leagues, and Thorne are evident at every level, and you can see them And it's not just the first team, it's a club, it's a community. They're in local newspapers to get through the door and stuff like that. So, yeah, I would like to get along there more if I can to go and support them, because I really think what they're doing is a fantastic project.
Yep, definitely. We're going to hear from David Watt. I asked him, was the main aim just to get promotion, or were they hoping to win the title this season? Here's what he had to say on it.
Yeah, we want to challenge for the title. We spoke about it pre-season. That's where we feel we should be. Maybe need to tweak a few things going forward to try and, again, as I mentioned before, teams are a bit stuffier, so to try and break them down. If it was a normal season, I think we'd be happy with promotion. Obviously, this season's a bit different. I'm not a big fan of the top 8, to be honest, but I've got no better ideas, so it is what it is. Really, there's no difference between 2nd and 8th now, so kind of spoke to the boys and say, if you really want to celebrate something, we really need to be challenging, we want to try and win it. So there's, as I mentioned before, still a long way to go, and then we'll take it game by game and see how we get on. It's still quite early, so yeah, we want to challenge, we want to try and win it.
I like the way he's looking at that. He's saying that there's no much difference between 2nd and 8th. I believe that's accurate. Over the piece, it's accurate. And I like that he's telling his players basically we want to go and win this league. But that's, as a club, that's what they pretty much know at this level, is just going and winning things. And they're going to be a first division club next season. I have absolutely no doubt about that in my mind, which is incredible with a step up. 3 divisions, despite the circumstances this season, 3 divisions. It's unbelievable that the step up they've made. They've got to be. What's your views? Do you think that they've got enough to go and win the league this season?
I wouldn't put it past them, because, as we said, they're excellent back to back to back. I think at this moment in time, given current form, you can't really see past spells. I mean, they've played 7, won 7, scored 26. I mean, scoring 26 goals in 7 games, so
impressive.
It's really impressive. But listen to David there. I really think that it's a really positive attitude, because a lot of managers will play it down, go, like, we're the new team in the league, let's just settle in there. Do you know what? Set standards.
Exactly.
Set ambitions. Do you know what? I think that's maybe is that a Scottish thing? I'm maybe going back to my old athletics roots, where I used to say, well, do you know what? If you think you're fast, I'll beat you. Do you know what? Let's go and do it. So I really think it's and if you can hear your manager saying that, I think that the players should be buying it.
Definitely makes a difference. So we're going to go for a quick break. Remember, if you want to get in touch with us, you can get us on WhatsApp at 07396717412. That's 07396717412. Or you can get us on X and Instagram at SatFootballLive. Or you can get us in the comments section at YouTube. We'll be right back after. Scotland Football League. Yet to have a goal in the first minute of any games, but we're going to have a cracker today. We should have Scott in the studio with pretty soon. Any questions you want to put to myself or Des or Scott when he's here, you can get us on WhatsApp at 07396 717 412. That is 07396 717 412. Or you can get us on X and Instagram at SAP Football Live, or you can get us in the comments section on YouTube Live. Thanks to those who are tuning in to the show. Hope you're enjoying it today. Don't hesitate to get in touch with us. Des, looking at the beautiful, beautiful Port Glasgow and Glasgow Uni game, Glasgow Uni have really surprised me this season. We had said last year that the third division looked like their level.
Yeah.
They were very much win one, lose one. And they're a team who, with different circumstances, obviously you have to wait till they've got their team in September. Generally, they don't start playing better until September.
Yeah.
But now we're at the stage where, similar to the Talbot, absolutely lightning start when I don't think many people would have expected this at all, other than probably guys involved at the team. How impressed have you been with their start of the season?
Well, I think that's a twofold question. A, I've been very impressed, and B, I've been very surprised because the university teams don't tend to come back towards sort of like early on September. And then I've got Freshers Week, so I'm not too sure how many players will be fresh for a Saturday afternoon. Yes, I've been very impressed by them. Very impressed. I mean, what's that? Played 6, won 5, lost 1, scored 19. I mean, Dorai have scored 22 who are flying out the traps. But they're right on their coattails. So yeah, I've been impressed. I'd be interested to see how it goes later on in the season. And again, purely because it's a university type of thing, they'll get breaks, they'll get
Christmas
exams,
time and
etc.
Yep.
I don't foresee. See, I don't have any prior knowledge. I don't foresee that all the players will be coming from the Glasgow area, so they will want to potentially relocate over holiday times. But what Tam's done at Port and Knightswood, the two of them coming straight up. I think I said it last year. I think you and Johnny agreed with me as well. Port and Knightswood will be right in amongst it for promotion. I know Knightswood have played 6, won 3, drawn 2, lost 1. Spoke to Michael Pendler last week regarding his Scottish Cup tie. I wouldn't be surprised if the top 2 teams in this league are Port and Knightswood at the end of the season.
Well, today is a big one for this division. The top 4 all playing each other.
Yeah.
If Dorai can beat Knightswood, I think it's a massive marker they're laying down, because they beat Glasgow Uni. Granted, Glasgow Uni had one of those freak days where they had a ridiculous amount missing, but Dorai made sure they beat them, taking 8 off them that day. Dorai have beaten Port Glasgow as well.
With a great, I know they get beat, but a great result against Trent.
3-2, exactly. If they can beat Knightswood, they're really laying a marker down.
Yeah.
In this division, we've had a ridiculously quick start for Craig Mark against Luger. 4 minutes in, they're 2 goals up. They are 2 goals up already. Thanks for the update on the WhatsApp there. If you're at any games and you want to update us, just give us a shout on 07396 717 412. That's 2 goals for Craig Mark in 4 minutes. As it stands right now,
Is that what you call a Craig marker?
a Craig Mark. Oh, they've laid down a bit of Craig Marker. As it stands right now, Craig Marker only sitting 2 points off the top of the table with this win just now with their teams drawn. We've got a goal in the Premier League. Arthurley are 1 down to Johnson Borough after the first 5 minutes. That is 1-0 to Johnson Borough.
That's a big goal for Borough.
They need it.
Going through what they've been recently, they need to get themselves back on track.
We're going. Do you know what? We're not going to go there yet. We will come back to the Premier League because Johnson Borough was one I wanted to talk about. I'm really interested in this third division. I think this could be the tightest league we have this season. I think we're talking Dorai, Glasgow Uni, Port Glasgow, Knightswood, Craig Mark, Ardere. And do you know, I don't think Glenvale and Glasgow United or Kello will be able to push enough to have a say in what happens at the top of the table. But that top 6, I genuinely believe that with a good run of form, any of them could win the league.
Well, as I said earlier, or just a couple of moments ago, yes, it's been a great start. Chris Wilson's done amazing at Dorai to get them there. They've had great result. Yes, they defeat Trinent, but they're playing against a top tier team.
Aye.
Losing over there. Glasgow Uni, it's really all about how they can sustain it. But I'm just going to stick with my gut instinct. I think Port Glasgow next will be the top two.
Do you know, I completely understand that, and I really hope that Port Glasgow can win it, obviously, for obvious reason. I think Dorai are going to have a big say in what happens this season. I think if they win today, they've got to be favourites for the league.
Well, let's get to the end of the 90 minutes and we'll probably be in a better position to make that forecast. I'm making that forecast not through negligence or not through no information. I just think that the way it's going, this is a big game. So let's just see how Dorai next week go on.
I think that'll be really interesting this year. And we've just got the main man himself walking into the studio. How was your game? What was your score this morning?
We beat 2-1.
2-1. How many goals did you cause? One.
I didn't cause any, to be fair, like a good.
You had a great
I
game.
had a good game.
Very modest. I always like that about you.
I know. Nobody else is going to give him.
So it's good to have you in the studio, Scott, because we're get that away. Sorry about that, folks. We are going to go through the 4th division and then we'll move on to Daisy's quiz time. So in the 4th division, Eglinton and Carluke are playing. Scott, just to let you know,
Yep.
Des overruled you on a couple.
Well, he did. That's
He
fine.
did.
I wasn't here, so
So
fair's fair.
To be fair, it was on that in the classroom.
so Linlithgow, Talbot, Roch, the two agreed on that.
Uh-huh.
Now, Des has gone for a draw between the Thorne and Linlithgow. You obviously went for the Thorne one.
Yep.
And then in the final game, he's went a bit left field.
Mm-hmm.
Did you go for the draw with Eglinton and Carluke?
Mm-hmm.
So the threes went different. I went Carluke, you went draw Eglinton.
Right.
So I think he's wanting to put a marker out on that one. But on the 4th division, we're talking about Eglinton and Carluke. It's a big one for me for Carluke. If they can win, they could potentially be looking at. They'll probably still be 5 points clear because I think East Kilbride will beat St Peters today.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll be putting a 7-point cushion between themselves and Eglinton. If they don't win, Eglinton could be a point behind them. East Kilbride could be 2 points behind them. Irvine Vicks, Royal Albert, either of them could be right up behind them as well. And it changes the dynamics. Scott, why did you go for the draw in this game?
I just think early in the season, both teams are quite evenly matched. Obviously, you look at the results, the way it's been going during the season so far. It's early. This is where I think it's really hard to pick winners at times unless you've got certain teams that are playing for the bottom, teams playing at the top. It just, for me, just seems like a really tight game. The goals for, the goals against, everything is very, very similar. I think it'll be a score draw.
I think, see, to be honest, I know the threes have gone different results, but I don't think any of this would be surprised if a draw was the result.
No, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm just, obviously we spoke earlier, the Irvine Vicks game.
Well, Irvine Vicks have just gone 1-0 up against Royal Albert, just as you say it.
Right.
Des, you were perfect timing a couple of weeks ago when myself, you and Scott McPike, and you're picking up where you left off.
That's it. They should be picking me in lottery.
Lewis Morrison has just put Hurlford 1-0 up against co-winning Rangers. That's an important goal for them in the Premier League. And East Kilbride are 1-0 up against St Peters. So that's two of the teams that are hoping to be title contenders in that 4th division are up early. We've got a goal in our featured fixture in the 2nd division. Now you guys have got the draw on. I've got Les Mehigo on. Les Mehigo are 1-0 up. So 1-0 up. And we have a 3rd goal in 8 minutes in the Luga Craigmark game. 3-0 to Craigmark. Look,
Craigmark ever started a game like that?
Exactly.
St Peters respond right away.
Really?
1-1.
Wow.
That's interesting. Sorry, Des.
No, so I was just reflecting on the fact that Eglinton had that remarkable result against Irvine Vicks away, which is obviously as close to the local derby you're going to get. And if they've got ambitions, and I know they do have ambitions to progress through the leagues, if they've got any ambition, they need to win today. They need to get that result. I know Carluke are flying. I mean, they've not lost. They've played 6-1-6, 16 goals for, 5 against. Eglinton 14 for, 5 against. So they're pretty much similar.
Yeah.
If Eglinton want to move on and show the ambition that the club have and the backers who are there, this is a game they need to win. And if they don't, then the Irvine Vix game doesn't mean anything.
No.
Well, we've got a goal in another featured fixture. Cumbernauld have gone 1-up through a Ronan Kearney goal. That's 1-0 to Cumbernauld against St Rochs. That big game we were talking about in the Premier League days, Troon have taken the lead against Drumchapel.
I've got a result coming in. A score coming in.
Knightswood 1-up.
Next week, 1-up against
Dorai, interesting.
Zach Simeone.
Zach Simeone, followed by an equally elegant name for the goal scorer for Troon, Dario Viviani. Viviani, I like the way Italian names. Petershill have just taken the lead. We were talking about that game earlier. Petershill have gone 1-0 up. And Maryhill have taken the lead against Larkhall. Johnny Baxter looked like they're bouncing straight back after last week's bad defeat to Greenock. I think I've touched on, Scott, just before you came in there. I was saying how I feel the third division might be one of the tightest divisions this year. But to be fair, I think the fourth division, if Eglinton can go and put a wee marker on Carluke today, could be possibly equally as close, because you've got Carluke, Eglinton, East Kilbride, Thistle, Irvine Vix, and Royal Albert are right up there, still undefeated. 3 wins, 3 draws. But do you know who's been, I don't think they'll win the league, but they're looking like a possible for promotion? BSC. Great to see that. Really good to see that after last season.
From where they came from.
I mean, even if the league finished now, improvement over last year.
I think if the league finishes now, they have 8 points more than they had last season.
And they're only -1 goal.
Aye. And that was, they had a 6-1 defeat a few weeks ago, or 6-0. A wee blip. And that's why they're sitting. I mean, they've only conceded, I'm actually going to, conceded 10 in their first 6 games. So they had a clean sheet against East Kilbride YM, lost 1 against Giffnock, lost 4 against Vale Leaving in the Cup, lost 6 against Vale Leaving the week before in the league. So Vale Leaving seem to be the team that have got them. Lost 1 to Wishaw, 1 to Campbelltown, 1 to Rossvale. And I always say every week, at this level, if you can go a goal a game, you're going to do well. And I think that they're testament to that as well.
That's the epitome, isn't it?
It's completely epitome. But look, enough of that football nonsense. Let's get ourselves into my favourite section of the show.
It's the quiz. Here's your host, Des Roch. We're in the west of Scotland, Lowland League. Des Roch knows it all. The quiz, Saturday Live.
The quiz, Saturday Live. Des Roch knows it all. Well, sorry, Des, just before we start, quite an interesting goal in the second division. Ashfield 1-0 up against Mabel. 2 teams who are really struggling at the moment, but that is Ashfield 1-0 up against Mabel. Petershill, after going 1-up, are now 1-1. Ardrossan have equalised there. No, sorry, my mistake. Ardrossan went 1-0 up. Struthers in the 5th minute, and Alex Cassells has just equalised for the penalty spot, so that is 1-1 in that game. Right, Des, on you go.
You've been checking the answers?
I thought you would keep the specs on.
No, I need it for 30 minutes.
Can't see without my glasses.
No, I can't read without my glasses. Okay, right. All devices off.
Hang on a second, I will take away the league tables. Right, on you go.
Okay. Which Premier League team have conceded the most goals against?
Okay. Can I put the table back up? Which Premier League team have conceded the most goals? I think who's at the bottom. So you've got Renfrew down there. Shots are down there, but Shots don't generally concede a lot of goals.
I don't think it's Renfrew either.
Would it be? It's got to be Beath. They could beat 6-1 last week. It's got to be Beath.
India's played Talbot basically somewhere because they've been
battering everybody.
Goals in.
It might be a bit easy to say Beath. That's my thought though. With such a convincing defeat last week. What do you think, Scott?
I'm going with Beath. I think that's the obvious one. We should know this.
We should. This actually should be something that we should know. But if anybody wants to play along with a quiz, don't be shy. Get yourself involved.
What about Ramadan? You can see quite a few, I think. Just came up on the field.
Well,
a few heavy results.
So I am looking at the fixtures for today. Right, so we've ruled out Renfrew, we've ruled out Shots. I think Beath are right up there. Glencairn, I don't think Glencairn have taken many doings.
I thought I've conceded a few goals as well, I think.
Do you know who I think? St Cadoc's could be a shout.
Right, I'll say
No way,
there's
let's
two,
go
two
hard.
teams are the same.
Two teams are the same.
Right.
Right. I would.
You pick one, I pick one.
I'll go St Cadoc's.
I'll go Athlone.
St Cadoc's. We're gonna go with St Cadoc's. I don't believe Athlone.
Is that locked in?
That's locked in.
Right. Second team?
I'll go Athlone.
I still think. I think Beath.
No.
Des, you can't move a goalpost, right?
You
You
go
said-
with you go
Two
with the
teams.
Cadoc's, right?
Now you go with your Athlone.
I'm certain I'll score that they can see a few goals.
Right, so St Cadoc's and Atherley.
Mhm.
You're right.
Oh,
Both of them.
there we go.
Leave my man
Hey,
up. Lead.
hey,
15.
Got to trust each other.
see,
I didn't think Athlone had lost that many goals.
Both have conceded 15.
Oh, well played. Well played.
Can I
Okay.
make table the no, but
Okay.
Right, Des.
How many West of Scotland junior teams has Callum Graham played for?
Oh, so right.
Ashfield,
Sorry, can I'd like to.
Clydebank,
So West of Scotland teams.
Yes.
West of Scotland teams. So Ashfield, Clydebank,
Beath.
Pollock, Beath, Bells Hill.
Bells Hill.
Um,
Five.
did he have a look? Was he at the Meda?
Yes, I think he was.
So he's 6.
I was at Ashfield and he was at Ashfield.
Right. So he was there. He was at,
Definitely.
definitely. That's where he started. Then he did have his Clydebank spell. He did it. He was at Pollock, wasn't he? It was at
I'm
Pollock.
sure he's briefly at a lot of clubs.
Aye,
and then-
Pollock. He's
I'm
obviously.
sure he was at Med as well.
I'm sure he was at Meda. He's at Bells Hill just now.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the 6th? We had 6 teams there.
So with Beath,
Oh, Beath. That's the 6th team. Do you want to go with lock in 6?
go with 6.
Go with Des 6.
Correct.
Yes.
You know,
We're on it today.
He actually had 2 spells at Meda.
Did he? A loan spell, didn't he?
Yeah.
Aye.
No, there you go then. There you go. We're flying. Right, Des.
Okay. Which team are known as the West Enders? It's no EastEnders. It's no.
Aye.
West Enders?
West Enders. What about West Park?
Obvious, isn't it?
That does seem obvious.
I think a team's that actually play at the West End. No, really.
There's no really because Maryhill would be your team, but they're. I don't know. I actually don't.
West Park seems far
It's
too
far
obvious,
too
isn't
easy,
it?
isn't it? Because
You really make it,
the new
is
te-
that-
the new teams don't really have nicknames, do they?
No, no.
Do they know?
I don't know. Des, don't start.
That's him.
That's
That's
that,
a
no.
new team then, eh?
Psychological stuff here with Desmond.
Drop him something.
I actually don't know. I don't know that one. West Enders. You might hazard a guess.
There'll be something left field. But
I think so as well.
I'm thinking something.
Who's it left of his West?
And
West is left.
Should-
As it
Depends
north.
where
It depends where you're
No, north, east, south, west.
What
West.
if you're not and you're looking at
I'm looking up.
It'll be something daft like a team for the west coast of Ayrshire or something like
Aye.
that. You know what I mean? It's a complete guess. I don't know. I'll hand that to you.
Hey, do you know what? I'm going to guess West Park. It's no, but West Park. Des.
Dennis.
Right, Des, on you go. Who is it?
Irving Vicks.
Huffing Fix. There you go then.
So I was going to go with Soul
Oh.
Crazy, so it wasn't far away.
We just had Michael McGill put in on the comments on YouTube there that it was Irvin Vick, so well done for getting that correct.
Okay.
Right, Des, question 4.
Which team play in the cradle of the Royal Stewarts?
So this is one if we get this, we win. He's only at 5.
No, you've still got another one after this one.
Aye, but we'll be 3-1 up.
No Renfrew.
It's a Royal Borough,
The Shields.
the Stewarts.
Is it?
But I was wondering.
So you're going to Renfrew.
You welcome to the Royal Borough. Aye. Well, do you know what? I'll go with that. You're a Renfrew boy. I know the sign you're talking about.
Aye, so you come in at the
Aye.
roundabout. It says Royal Borough of the Shields.
Mhm.
The Accleston down there?
No, it's when you come over the bridge. When you come over the bridge,
Sounds like the Shell Garage.
is it?
Mhm.
Aye.
It's near that's Accleston, isn't it? It's near left hand side.
Right, do you know what? We're going to go for Renfrew.
Well, he's
Des.
obviously no got Renfrew. He doesn't know. Looks it.
Des?
It's Renfrew, but
Yeah.
There you go.
it's the Inshin swing bridge.
That's what I thought it was, a swing bridge just
There's
as you,
another
at the
thing.
Normandy.
There's no one up at top end, is
There
there?
is. See, you're coming in for Gallagher.
That's
There's a thing.
That's crazy.
I know. That's too far.
That's too far out from.
Left in the corner.
So there you go then.
So there's
Right.
another sign there.
Well done, mate. We're winning this.
Right, okay. Which team are a prick stick?
Right, okay. Right,
Which team are
right. So this is obviously a lateral thinker.
Intriguing what we had this morning when I woke up.
Which team are that?
Actually, I said Doug and Doug picked this one.
Aye, okay, aye. Right, so we're thinking glue,
I'm thinking glue, something
sticky.
PVA, but they kind of
Something,
glue can you know.
something sticky. If anybody knows this one, you can get in touch with us on 07396717412. That's 07396717412, or on X and Instagram at Sat Football Live, or on the comments at YouTube. But I don't think anybody will know this.
Is this better than a Energy Field Stadium?
Do you know? See, the Energy Field Stadium would make more sense to us now because we know roughly where your mind goes with some of this stuff.
This is a 7:30 on a Saturday morning thought.
Aye, this is where you've no slept all night and you're just thinking of madness nowadays. Prit stick. And what? It's one of the ones like is
ground names.
I know, or is glue made somewhere in the west of Scotland? I don't know. Right, I don't know. Do I just we've won anyway?
Aye, good point.
So let's just pick somebody. Pick a random name, Scott. Just go away and.
Did you say which club? Did you say?
Yeah,
club.
and you're getting right. I said prick stick.
Pricks.
Who's a prick?
Whoa, well, sorry about that.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Sorry about that language.
What? No. When you hear it, it's not an offensive term.
Well, sorry for that language used anyway for any
Maybe
offence gods. Right,
Right.
Thornwood United.
We'll go with Thornwood.
Right.
No way.
Did somebody
You
stick
get,
that in the
you
comments?
get pick from a thorn. A stick is wood.
No way.
What I guess that.
Well, I guess that is.
Is that not a decent? And
That-
it wasn't offensive.
No, that's.
Listen, aye.
I'm well chuffed with that. How did it? Thornwood United. What a guess that is. Well, Des, it is now 3-1.
That was a bit of a scalping today.
Aye, that was a doing.
Well, to be fair, I was getting us at 7:30.
No, look.
Look.
See, we were on it today as well.
You glad I came in there?
Oh, so happy, so happy. That's why I waited for you. Got a couple of goals coming in. Vale Clyde have gone 1-0 up against Nielsen. Colburn have taken the lead against Prickstick United. The goal scorer Savarese, sorry.
You like your Italian?
They like my Italian name. He scores a lot of goals. That's a great signing for Vale Clyde, to be fair. But,
And the Rise goalkeeper has just been sent off.
bad to worse. That's
an opportunity.
honestly,
And
sometimes these things just
Just fall into
fall into place.
And the
For Knightswood.
centre midfielder Willie Plummer has been carried off with a hamstring injury after 12 minutes and replaced by Darren Miller.
That's not the worst sub. Well, diploma, you know how they
By the way, the quiz questions will be getting ramped back up because that was far too easy.
No, I
think
to be honest,
just-
I think we had a good day in the Thornywood. That was just
Yes.
complete
But
luck.
I gave you when I said you were saying.
No, you
I gave you. I gave you.
you never, because I completely guessed, so there was no way that you gave me it. And I get what you're saying, but you never gave
The
me.
Renfrew one was a bit issue.
That was it. Do you know what?
That was probably a bit too soft.
I
For
don't
30
think I went.
Maybe a bit soft.
Because I was looking at either Renfrew or Kello being in Dumfries.
Aye.
I kind of cradle of the Stuarts.
Just
Um,
like that. Sure.
St Roch's have equalised with a Jamie Hamilton goal against Cumbernauld, so that was a quick reply. Just as I mentioned Kello there, they are 1-0 up against the Ants. The Ants having a really, really tough season. It's one they really need to pick up on. We've got it was a penalty that Savarese
There you go.
scored. It was Savarese. Vale leaving. Do you know, we never really mentioned them in the 4th division. Sorry, the 3rd division. Is it 4th division they're in? Yep.
Yeah.
We never really mentioned them. They have gone 1-0 up. So that's good. Good start to the game for them against Rossvale. Rossvale another.
Struggling.
I know-
That's fair leaving's like 17th goal of the league.
So that would
And they've
be
lost 2 games. It's bizarre.
24th goal.
In the league.
24th goal in 7 games. For me, Rossvale sitting bottom of the league, 1 win out of potentially 7, because Vale leaving, I think, will go on and win that today. Obviously, Barry's taking over the job there. It's a tough ask. Josh is a hard man to follow, but also losing so many players and having to replace them is a really tough one for them to try and come back for. We're still 1-0 for Les Mexico against the Thorne, and gentlemen, Pollock 0, Renfrew 1.
Yes.
So 1-0 to
Very
Pollock.
much.
Giffnock 2 up against Campbelltown. Maryhill double the lead to go 2 up against Lark Hall. Still 0-0 with Gart Cairn. Mabel pull a goal back. The 2 bottom teams down there in that division. It is now Mabel 1, Ashfield 1. Ashfield have lost all 6 games.
Yeah.
Mabel still to pick up their first one of the season, having 2 points more. Ashfield, we spoke about, remember we talked about Wishaw and they had the 2 bad seasons in a row.
Yeah.
Obviously this season's a bit better for them, but they did really 2 bad seasons.
Mhm.
I think we're looking at that with Ashfield.
I think so as well. Do you know we're talking maybe 10, 15 years ago, Ashfield were a top 5 team in the
Mhm.
Premier League. Do you know what I mean? And how they've just went nosedive in the tables. And the sad thing is, I think they'll maybe do a shot and end up in the bottom
Mhm.
to rebuild and start again.
Yeah, Troon 1-0 up, Stephen Docherty.
What did they say that?
Have you?
What did they say that? Thanks for that,
His
Des.
head's gone to
He's absolutely crumbled. Girvan are 1-0 up against Glasgow Perthshire. That is 1-0 to Glasgow Perthshire. Threave have taken the lead against 4th. Lewis Downey has scored there. Lark Hall have pulled one back, against Maryhill. Ben Daly puts St Roch's ahead, so they're continuing their 100% record. Glasgow United have taken the lead against Easterhouse. I think that's a bit of a marker today. I think, Des, we touched on it, yourself particularly touched on Glasgow United could be a really difficult side in that division. Goodwillie, I don't know who scored, but Goodwillie's sitting 9-10 goals already this season.
He will always.
He will,
Doesn't
of course he will.
matter what league. David Goodwillie, let's be honest, should be playing in the Premier League with one of the top teams. It's also just
Circumstance.
what goes along with it.
He's only about 33, 34.
Nah, he's still got a couple of years left at this level anyway.
He's,
We've got a goal in the first division. Gart Cairn are 1-0 up. Dom Morgan with a goal there. Giffnock now 3-0 up against Campbelltown. Ardrossan have taken the lead again against Petershill, so that is 2-1 to Ardrossan. So it's 2-0. It's 2-0 for Trin. Not 1-0, 2-0. Stephen Dockett with a goal.
It's now 2-0 for Copley at Thorne.
Wow.
Gavin Miller with a penalty.
2-0 for Les Mahago against the Thorne. So we're getting a lot of goals coming in here. Quite interesting. That Gavin Miller with a goal for Kilburney. Just after we're talking about Vale leaving, looking like they probably go on. Rossvale just equalised. 1-1. Royal Albert have just equalised against Irvine Vicks. Lark Hall 2-0 down, now 2-2. East Kilbride YM taking the lead against Wishaw. Right, Scott, myself and Des had touched on this earlier.
Mhm.
2 managerial changes in the last couple of weeks.
Right.
Gordon Robertson, Budgie McGee taking over at Benb. What's your thoughts on that one? Do you know what? I'm going to stop you. I just realised the time. We're getting close to a break. So we will be coming straight back to your thoughts on that after the break. We'll just hear what you've got to say. But remember, if you want to get in touch with us, you can get us on WhatsApp at 07396 717 412. That's 07396 717 412. Or you can get us on X and Instagram at SatFootball Live, or head over to the comment section on YouTube. And you want to ask myself or the guys, don't be shy, just get in touch with us. We'll be right back after these. Football Live, joined in the studio by Des Roch, as always, and Scott Perry. Delighted to have the guys in. Scott, I cut you off just before we went to the break there. Thanks. Talking about Gordon Robertson, Budgie McGee getting in at Benb. Myself and Des have kind of briefly discussed it. What's your views on it?
A change had to be made at some point. Also, the results were poor. Really poor. The Benbs have been looking to probably push and try and get back at the league this season, but things stand that a really difficult proposition. Time will tell. You don't want to be critical, but I'm not sure on it. But time will tell if it's going to be the right appointment. As we know, if you can get it going at the Benbs, it's a good place to be. You get everything on your doorstep. You need good catchment area, surface is good, you've got all the facilities you need. So I'm on the fence with it, to be honest with you. But as time goes on, that's the only way we're going to see. It's early in the season, they could still turn it around. But for me, watching the Benbs pre-season, playing against them pre-season, a change had to be made.
Before we move on to my follow-up question on it, Talbert have just gone 1-0 up against Glenafton. Baylor Clyde have doubled the lead against Nielsen, that's 2-0. And Elliot Campbell has capitalised on a defensive mistake for Vale Leven. It is now 2-1 to Vale Leven against Ross Vale. The goal scorer for the Talbot was Ewan Thompson. And who was the goal scorer? Oh, Saravesi again for Baylor Clyde, so good start for him. 3 now 2-0 up against 4th. Aidan Kerr with the goal there. East Kilbride YM double their lead against Wishaw. That is now 2-0. I'm wondering if we're starting to see a wee bit of daylight coming in, and East Kilbride YM maybe finding their feet a wee bit as well. Right, follow-up question for both of you. Gordon Robertson, I think Gordon did a good job at Yoker, got them in the Scottish Cup final.
I think that was probably overachieving.
Definitely. And always had them mid-table in that second division.
Yeah.
And for me, that's Yoker's maybe top-end level at the moment, because financially they don't really have the muscle to go much further.
No.
So he always did a pretty solid job. Budgie McGee, as we know, played bank manager for years and did a really good job and stuff there. Was Budgie at
Was it
Kilburney? Was it Largs as well? Was it ever at Largs?
But
But this is working back years.
Yeah.
Who would a couple of names you maybe would have considered good options for the Benbs? Because Des, you were obviously looking at, we spoke about it previously, you were looking at somebody a bit more experienced.
Yeah. I think somebody like Tony McInally.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say Tony. I don't disagree. I think Tony would have been a good appointment.
I think Tony gets teams, he gets clubs, he gets results. Listen, I like to, and I'm not saying this because I'm balanced, but no, he knows how to get teams settled and get them straight and get them going. Who else would have said? Would Straney look at that, or Straney look? I don't think.
I don't think that's big enough for him.
No, that's what I'm saying. Straight, but we've seen what Straney could do. I'm just thinking next players. Tony's the one that jumps off the pace, mate. If you're going to go the young route, and I know he's involved in our club, but David Gormley.
Do you know? No for me.
No
for me.
The one name that did think was Tony.
Tony's the one that strikes out to me. And go, do you know what? It's a big club.
Yeah.
A big manager. He'll attract players.
Yep.
He'll get them playing basic football to win games.
Yeah.
And then he can build on it.
Well.
I think it obviously depends on. There's not. Everybody knows Frank Lovren runs the club, and it's really Frank and Paul that will make the decision on how they view football. Depends on what they view it as. Now, I knew you were going to say Tony McInally. Tony McInally. McInally. You probably know who I'm going to say.
I know who you're going to say.
Josh Gardner, for me. I don't know why nobody's taking a punt on him. I also think that...
But do you think Josh is trying to settle in at a different level first?
Maybe. But I think that this is a level up for where he coached before.
It's a level up, 100%. Where he managed
before, yes.
So what he's doing now is he's coaching at a top level. So what he'll do is he'll gain that experience. And
I think being in at Paul, it's great for him. I think it gets his name better known and stuff. And
what about that?
Do you know, see, to be honest, I don't know. I think Dak's contacts for me
Are incredible.
are ridiculous. Like, he knows everybody, and it's not like Dak comes across very much as the daft guy and the
And he's-
joker, right?
he's not.
But his contacts are great, and he just I used even doing this. I'd know who reasonable players are and stuff. Dak would come to me and say, "Oh, such and such does this and does this and does this," and you're like, his knowledge is so good.
But he is one for the left side, and it'd be coming down for him.
Mhm.
You've got John McEwen at shots and going to a couple of the bends.
I know, but it's quite an interesting thought, to be honest with you. I mean,
Because I think he's obviously he's a fabulous manager, and he's been at Cumnock in a big club. He's at shots, and he's absolutely solidified them there. But for
is
me,
there anything else he can do at shots?
That's what
Exactly.
can he move?
is there a glass ceiling there
Yeah.
that he can go through?
Mhm.
For the bends, if you go to the bends, as we just said, location straight up there in the 8,
Yeah.
back in they're going to get,
Yeah.
and straight back into the Premier League. They were a top 6 Premier League team
Yeah.
for a good
Number
number
of
of years.
Mhm.
Would that be?
So I can completely see it. I don't know John particularly well.
I don't know.
I don't think it's what he would do. I think he seems quite happy at shots. He seems to have the run of the club.
Yeah.
He does a great job every year,
I think
getting them up and then keeping them up. Honestly, it's a couple of goals coming in. Talbot are now 2-0 up. Are we looking at another romp in here?
Yes.
Paul Payton's done a fantastic job, but sometimes certain teams just seem to have your number. Beath, 1-0 up against Glencairn. That's a really good one for them.
Getting back to the bends there, right? Talk about Paul Payton. What about Alan Muir, the assistant?
Is that something that Ailsa would be interested in?
I
do you
think
think?
well, no one else. I know he is interested in getting back. He does want to be his own man at some point.
I wonder it wouldn't be the worst. What is bad though is Maryhill were 2-0 up and now 3-2 down.
No way.
Wow.
3-2 down, Larkhall penalty. We've got
Is that at Larkhall, sorry?
no, it's at Maryhill.
Really?
So the goal scorer for the Talbot was Luke Main. Drumchapel have pulled one back against Troon, but Troon went 3 up. It is now 3-1. Liam McGonigal with a goal for Beath. That's they've had a couple of signings like Tam Collins, Bilbo, Liam McGonigal from Clydebank. I thought Beath were going to kick on a wee touch more. Maybe this could be the catalyst today. They're 2-0 up.
Yeah.
And who's the goal scorer? Tam Collins.
They're
Just as a
they're actually 3-0 up now.
3 of Jesus.
We'll get somebody at the game so we can give them a couple of time.
Royal Albert 2-1 up against Irvine Vicks after going behind, which is it's quite. That's where we're talking about mentality earlier. Des, Irvine Vicks, do they have the mentality? I know they get relegated last year. Do they have the mentality to go and win this league? I'm not sure.
I don't think they do. No, we've just seen the way the results went against Eglinton the other week there, and to me, as much as I like Ben Carson as a person and as a friend, I just don't see it working for him.
A yo-yo team.
Mhm.
Recent years, Irvine Vicks, like, even if looking at the fourth division, it's as if you flipped that table upside down to the way it kind of ended last season.
Right.
There's a lot of teams up the top end that were really struggling last year. I know it's still early, but also Killook didn't have a great season last year, and they're up there. Wishaw are beginning to kick on.
That's
I knew
climbing.
they'd kick on this year
Well,
as well.
Losing today, East Kilbride YM are going to leapfrog them, but it looks at.
They've surprised me.
I thought it'd have been better.
I thought they'd been better. Again, it's
I've
still early.
expected them to come in to hit the ground running.
Do you know what?
a bit
I
faster.
think they'll kick on.
Absolutely no harm to East Kilbride YM. I don't know anyone at the club. No harm to them. And I'm a big advocate, obviously, of the new clubs coming in.
Yeah.
Part of me is pleased that they've not come in and romped it,
Mhm.
because it shows the quality in this division is better than people would give it credit for. And I think that we're now getting to a stage where even your poorer teams in this division are getting better.
I think it's better than it was. I think
Yeah.
they looked at a couple of years ago, excuse me, some of these amateur teams did come in and competed in higher end teams in the league. But as you said, that's not really happening
No.
anymore, which is good to see in a sense.
It actually validates the league.
It
It
does.
does. You why they play at that level.
100%.
Well, Giffnock are now 4-0 up against Campbelltown.
Having a rough season.
They're having a really hard season, so that's looking for their second win. But beating Campbelltown should be the minimum for Giffnock. Talking about Benb, Darvel, two teams having really, really bad times. Benb have just taken the lead. That is 1-0. Now we're talking about Ben Carson days. You and Ben, your old team,
Mhm.
1-0 down to Whitlets. Bottom of the table, Whitlets are beating them 1-0. Vela Clyde.
And Whitlets have actually they've been back themselves this year. They've bought got a right few players. And
It's not been a great start to the season for them,
No,
but
it's
they
not.
are as it stands 1-0 up against title contenders Irvine Meadow. Vale Clyde having a great day, 37 minutes. They are 3-0 up. As you said, 3-0 for B. Tam Collins with his second of the game there. Quite interesting. So the other managerial change this week, we've got the Cali local boys moving over to Coolside Rangers, that is. Cali locals beat Coolside recently. So it's an interesting one. I think everybody knows Cali local don't have any finances. They don't have huge fan base either. Coolside Rangers, for me, a club underachieving, massively underachieving. So I think in that sense, it makes sense. But did you see the statement that Cali locals put out? So Cali locals, I can't find it just now, but Cali locals, I will find it and then we'll talk about it in a wee second. Talking about they were a bit disappointed with the fact that the management team moved on.
Right.
What's your view on the management team moving to Coolside and moving to a team right beside them in the league?
I would think that they're probably looking at the infrastructure around the club.
I think
That's the
the boys, didn't
yeah. Locals don't particularly have a great following at home. The facilities where they have up in Bishop Briggs, it's probably quite limited.
So that Cali locals use Pear's Hill. Pear's Hill.
Pear's Hill, Bishop Briggs, that sort of surround. They're probably limited in how far they can go. But I know we've got also two Coolside teams, but Coolside Rangers, look at the infrastructure they've got around them. Look at the catchment area. You can actually dip into Cumbernauld area,
if you need to.
Falkirk, places that are close around. Decent facilities, decent playing surface, that social club generates more money. Let's be honest, Coolside Rangers shouldn't be where they are at this moment in time. So I can understand. I can understand why the club are disappointed to lose their management team, of course, but you can't.
Let me read out the statement. Des, sorry, cut you off there. After the resignation on Saturday of our management and coaches, we now look to start the process of recruiting a new management team for the remainder of the season. The successful applicant must be in a position to have their own assistant and, if possible, goalkeeper coach. Preferably have experience within the West of Scotland Football League, be able to work within a very constricted budget, but within a club who has a track record of success and ambition to move forward and promote all that is great about our club. All applications will be looked at over by the club's committee before deciding on a short list of candidates to interview. Applications should be submitted later. Right, so that's the application process. I'm sorry, I've read the wrong one. See if I can find the for the other day when they put it. Oh, it's a club statement. No, that's it. I can't find it.
Scott, what do you think?
I agree with you. I think as a coach, what have you, if you've been there a number of years, you've been relatively solid. Cali locals, to be honest with you, he's done a good job. But as you said, I think it's the whole infrastructure, the club, and I think that's what attracted him to move on in the first place. Because as a coach, we all know you want to move on and better yourself and see how far you can go. And no disrespect to Cali locals, but Coolside Rangers is that slight stepping stone, I think, to move on again. And again, it's another place kind of like the Benb, if you can get that going as well there.
If they can get it,
So
100 points.
Here is the club statement, sorry. After yesterday's defeat to Bankside in the Junior Scottish Cup, manager Gavin Mackey informed the club that he would be resigning his position immediately alongside his assistant Barry Fraser and Willie Sawyers. Gavin stated that he would now be taking up a new coaching role made to him by Coolside Rangers. This has come as a total shock to everyone at the club, committee and players combined. This decision has been taken only 3 weeks after Gavin was given full control of all football affairs after the departure of co-manager Danny Boyle. To say we are disappointed with the decision is an understatement. But as we have always done, we will move forward and continue to provide our players with the best possible opportunity to improve our league position and hopefully start to push towards those important league positions this season. So they're obviously very surprised and taken back. See, for me, we know how this goes. We understand clubs will tap managers and players up. That is, anybody who says any differently,
it's life.
That is life. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's the nature of the beast. The guys have been approached.
Players don't clubs don't make a bid for a player
Without-
unless they know the
aye,
player's willing to come.
Exactly. Unless they've got a feeling that something's going to come from it. Now, Kilsyth, if we look at the league table just now, Kilsyth are sitting wrong division. Kilsyth are sitting 13th, Cali Locals sitting 12th. Kilsyth won 1 out of 6. Not a surprise that they're looking for a management change. They do historically have a bigger history than Cali Locals, obviously. I think Cali Locals are a team who punch above their weight, and they've done well to appoint managers who, even for the Rossvale days, they've done really well to appoint the right managers, and it's something they seem to be quite good at as a committee. And I'd imagine they'll do the same again this time. I think that they're a club with potential in terms of they're a great place for young managers to go for me and be allowed a bit of freedom to try and play a certain style of football and be entertaining. And I also think they're a great club to bring in young players and give them that freedom. And that's probably where you maybe get a wee bit more freedom at a club like that, where you wouldn't at Kilsyth Rangers.
You get time.
Right, and Kilsyth Rangers will expect to be up there, and they really should be. They should be a first division team in my opinion. I remember when I played, they were a team who were trying to get into the Premier League.
So same.
And it's definitely an interesting one. We'll see what comes from that. Just got a couple of messages coming in. 1-0 to Ardeer. So that's Craig Mark winning, Ardeer winning. Knightswood beating Dorai. Port Glasgow 3-1 up against Glasgow Uni. So the teams, the top two, are both losing in that division. It's quite an interesting one, which keeps it really tight. If it stays as is, Port Glasgow will go top of the league on 16. Dorai 15, Glasgow Uni 15, Knightswood 14, Craig Mark 14, Ardeer 13. 3 points separating the top 6 teams as it stands. It's quite an interesting division, this one.
It is. Obviously, briefly, just get Portland as well. I do fancy them to do well this season. Obviously, seeing the way they work behind the scenes as well, but they've got a good structure. They've got a good management team there as well. They don't get too ahead of themselves. They're quite level-headed, quite calm. They just take it as it comes. Next game. I was really impressed. I think they'll do really well this season. Scoring a lot of goals again.
I know.
Well. They've won blemish against Dorai, but
first game of the season as well. So,
to no disrespect to Dorai, Port kind of blew them away second half, but it was 3-0 in, so it's still late. But it's going to be really tight to talk that week this season.
I agree. I think that I touched on, just like I said to you just before you come in, this might be the tightest one. I think the 4th division is going to be right up there as well. We always talk about the 1st division being so tight, the hardest one to go to. I don't see it being as similar. This year's a wee bit different. I think maybe the pressure's taken away because so many teams go up. But this league looks like it's going to be the interesting one for teams to win it. Mabel, just before half time, have gone 2-1 up against Ashfield. Craig Mark now 4-0 up against Lugar. Johnson Borough 2 up. Blair Rossiter we second of the game against Arthurlie. So Arthurlie are now the team who have conceded the most goals.
It's a big result for Borough.
Cali Locals, 43rd minute, just we're talking about it, going 1-0 up against Blantyre. That's a huge one.
Who's taking the Cali team today?
I'm not too sure. Somebody who knows the committee that's coaches at Hamilton is taking the team today. I imagine they'll have applied for the job, put themselves in a really good position. 1-0 up against Blantyre Vicks. Easterhouse have equalised in the 43rd minute just before half time against Glasgow Uni. Glasgow United, sorry. That's 1-1. Gemmell pulls a goal back for Glencairn. They're 3-1 against Beath now, but Beath having a really good first half. 3-4 up against 4th. Dylan Bruce with a goal. We've not had Irvine or Kearney with any goals today, which is a surprise for me. They're usually two of them right on it, and that's half time at Cali Locals. Half time at the Thorne, 3-0 to Les Mahago at the Thorne. I think it looks like I've got that one in the bag today, gents. Goal just before half time. St Cadoc's were 1-0 up against Largs. Lewis Davidson pulls his old man out of trouble there. 1-1 there. 4-0 to Vela Clyde. Royal Albert half time 2-1 against Irvine Vicks. 3-0 for the Talbot now against Glenafton. Connor Boyd with a goal there.
I think that'll finish 5.
It's quite worrying for everybody. No, Glenafton losing this isn't the end of the world.
No, Scott, what I said to Paul before you came in, Talbot are perennial finished the season really, really well.
Yeah.
I've not seen them start this well for such a long time, and their momentum will carry through.
Aye, totally agree. We were talking about this even last year, about how Talbot finished the season really, really strongly, and they finished up then, was it Talbot?
I think they're
Second or third, they really got themselves back up, but as you said, it's probably been about 5 years
since they really
since they really hit the ground running, and as you said, I was looking at it the other day there, and a bit of goals is going. It's just, you really want to be going Talbot.
the amount of goals they're not conceding.
Exactly. So I think, no, I'm not going to even say that, but I was like quite massive favourites. Even when they haven't been starting leagues well, you still would say.
If you're looking at the league position prior to today,
yeah,
played 6, scored 26, lost 6. So they're only losing 1 goal a game on average.
Yeah.
And we'll say if you're losing 1 goal a game or scoring 1 goal a game,
and obviously that's another 3 they've scored already as well. So before you know it, could be sitting at 30 goals in 7 games. That's frightening.
It's really impressive.
Some teams will even score that this season.
Exactly.
It's
Talbot could probably have 1 player scoring that many goals at the end of the season.
That's crazy. But that's no disrespect to the rest of the teams. But over the years, that's where Talbot should be. That's where we've come to.
That's what we expect.
They've had their blip now for 2 years.
But I think hopefully for them, that's them back where they belong.
Aye, we're trying to see if we can get a couple of calls. Speak to
the Benb game if you want to.
Is that Martin? We'll see if we can get to Martin. Waiting to see if we can hear from Mary. I'm quite interested in that one after being 2-0 up. Half time, Rob Roy, Muirkirk 0-0. Waiting to see if we can get in touch with Gary.
I fancy Muirkirk for
that. It's Rob Roy got to be doing better. They really have.
But we almost gave them a year of grace
last year, didn't we?
Yeah.
We did. We're going to kick on this year big time as well. But it's not really quite happened.
No, it's not.
So, see, just touching back on Bear Clyde, as you said, scored goals this season. That's the one thing they were missing last season. They were a very kind of goal difference, just single figures last season.
Which is ironic.
Draws.
Losing Big Paul Dunny up front, losing him, you're thinking, that's got to be a hassle.
I know.
And it really seems to, no, because he's left, but it really seems to be.
Maybe changed the way they play, but do you know what I mean? He could have dictated the
if he was the focal point,
exactly.
Like too.
Depends how they play.
We're going to go to Martin Ferry at the Benb game.
Hello.
Martin, how are we? 3-1 to Benb first half. How's the game been?
To be honest, Paul, I wish I'd have came in at 30 minutes. It was pretty kind of sterile, I would say, but then after the 30 minutes, we just for 10 minutes were kind of all over them. Could ever shooting up the hill, but scored 2 good goals and then got a penalty, make it 3, and then Rutherglen just come back into the game for about the last 5 minutes of the first half and scored with probably the last kick of the ball to make it 3-1. So interesting stuff second half.
Martin, what do you think? Does it look like Benb can go on and completely dominate this game, or do you think the Gartcairn goal could bring them back in the second half?
I think it's probably 3-0 down. You're thinking, and obviously Benb are on the up, and then out of kind of nowhere, you manage to produce a goal. So that's got to be the manager's positive for that first half. Probably that last sort of 15 minutes. So and obviously they're the only thing is Benb are now going down the famous hill. So that's not exactly good for the opposition.
Martin, thank you very much for coming on, mate. It's good to speak to you. If you can keep updating Des throughout the game, it would be appreciated.
Will do, Paul. Thanks for the call.
Cheers, mate. See you later. We are going to go to another call in a wee second. Just going to go to Gary at Rob Roy. 0-0 Rob Roy and Muirkirk first half.
Afternoon.
Gary, it's good to have you back, mate. How are you?
All good, mate. How are you? Good to have you guys back as well.
It's great being in the studio. It's been good to be back talking about all the games. You guys, 0-0 with Muirkirk. Muirkirk obviously having a pretty decent start. Yourselves, though, it's another tough start to this season. You would like it to be a bit better. How's the game played out so far?
Both teams have pretty much cancelled each other out at the moment. Both teams lacking a bit of quality in the final third. Rob Roy have probably had the closest of chances to opening the scoring, but a game really devoid of any talent, a bit of quality at the moment.
Have any teams had any good chances, or is anybody looking like they're in the ascendancy?
Two teams have, as I say, pretty much cancelled themselves out. So Rob Roy had a couple of chances. Luke Bartley with a chance. Couple keepers that had some good saves, but chances in the game have been few and far between. Neil Turkiff had one. I think Rob Roy had about 3 or 4, but it's not been a game with 3, 4 and 12 chances at the moment.
Gary, thank you very much for the update, mate. It's good speaking to you again. We'll catch up with you soon.
Catch up with you soon. All the best. Cheers.
Cheers, mate. This is one of those ones where you know it's like we've all got friends and at this level of the game, and Gibby's somebody I've known a long time, somebody I really like. It's got to be better. It's no good enough. And I know, like I said, I know Gibby well. He will not be happy with how things are, but there's more points potentially being dropped today. They've only won, one game so far this season. 1 out of 6, 1 out of 7 today. They've only lost 2, granted, but it's just a team who really should be looking to get promoted this season.
I think everybody gave Rob Roy not an easy case of it, but when they were ground share for becoming old for such a long time, they were the travelling nomads.
Yeah.
To a certain extent, then they got their own ground. Granted, we also had to put a lot of money into that and get things up and running. But the whole saga had lasted so long. When they got into the new ground, pointed Gibby's John's got great credentials in the game. They've given him a young team because obviously the budget's not there because what they've had to go and spend to get the facility run. So they almost got a free shot last year, and everybody understood that, and none more so than us. But I thought this is the year they need to kick on, and unfortunately, and by the way, Gibby will be the first one.
Oh, 100. He's not a theatre guy.
He's not going to hold back. He will tell the players the expectations. I can pretty much guarantee that the paint in that dressing room will be curled up their toes at this moment.
I tell you what, 37 minutes in, 4-0 to the Talbot. Austin Syme with a goal there, 4-0. A really interesting.
I said 5.
A really interesting half-time result coming in the second division. Bells Hill 1, Bonneton 2. So
I still think Bells Hill.
They have to lose eventually. To be fair,
but wasn't it Bonneton? I thought
no, it wouldn't. But Bonneton are like that as well. Mabel get a third just before the break, so it's another real tough day. A real tough day at the office for Ashfield again, and it's
Johnny will be happy.
What see with Ashfield, right? So, do you know, I've done it again. I've missed the time. We're going to come back. We'll come back after the break because we're nearly at break time. We're getting that caught up in it and enjoying it that much today that we are nearly missing the breaks. So, if you want to get in touch with us, you can get us on 07396 717 412. That's 07396 717 412. Or you can get us on X and Instagram at Sat Football Live, or in the comments section on YouTube. Don't hesitate to reach out to the guys. We're going to have the second half of the West of Scotland coming up soon, and also the kickoffs for the Lowland League games. We'll be right away throughout the league season. Again, that's hard to believe as well. We're just flying through the weeks already. It'll be Christmas before we know it, and I hope everybody will be ready for Santa when it comes. I think big one today. Craig Mark were 4-0 up against Lugar. Lugar have scored. The comeback is on. The comeback is on 4-1 to Craig Mark against Lugar.
Who's it? Lugar who's it? Macduff?
Is it?
I'm sure it is.
Stuart Macduff, is it?
I'm sure it is.
And I don't know Stuart right. I know his brother a wee bit. I know his dad a wee bit.
Mm-hmm.
If this is how it continues to go, maybe it's no for him.
So it went back to well, unfortunately. Because obviously he was managing Saturday mornings. And he was relatively successful without winning much. He was competing in leagues and things like that. So I was made a respectful shock to see him go step up the level. But I was like, do you know what, fair play to you, go on and take the opportunity. But he has struggled, unfortunately.
So it's just been confirmed that is Stuart Macduff that's there. And I really appreciate the updates if people get in touch with us. So if you do want to give us any updates or talk about anything, just as I said before the break, get us on WhatsApp at 07396717412. That's 07396717412. Or you can get us on X and Instagram at SatFootballLive. Or get us in the comments section like Paul Smith does every week for us. Great for updates with Paul. Michael McGill, really appreciate you joining us today. Ross McClatchy giving us updates for the Thrieve game, who are 4-0 up against Force. We appreciate that very much. Lowland League games are just kicking off. We were just talking about it before booking back on air. Scott, that Clydebank still undefeated.
Yeah.
Me and Des were talking about the fact I went through to the Clydebank game last week after the 2 years let me down. And, had to leave early. Went to the game. Do you know, Andy, me and Des spoke about this during the week. Andy Leishman, I think he's injured, so he's not been playing. Owen Stott, who very capable deputy.
Yeah.
Excellent job at Beath. You could see the rustiness in him though.
Yeah, because no minute.
You could see he was at fault for the third goal late on last week. Really indecision. He came, stopped, came too late. Goal.
And that's what you get when you're 100. And particularly being a goalkeeper.
I can attest to that. So even just this morning, I've not played 7 weeks, and just daft things like the ball coming back to your feet. You think you've got a wee bit longer on it, and you don't. Just daft things like that. Decision making is what goes though for me. You say.
It's well, and even the game I watched the highlights against Bonus during the week for them.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, he wasn't. They won 2-0. Clean sheet from great from, but there was a one that came in the second half, cross ball, and he was a bit everywhere. But Owen is a good goalkeeper. It's like
He'll come.
but that's hard as well. See when you're. I've had this from a player's point of view. I had it in Cumnock. I played most weeks, but most weeks I was a sub.
Yeah.
I was just a young player at the time. And it got to the stage where I was really worried about making mistakes because I thought I'm going to be the first one taking it.
Yeah.
As a goalkeeper, Scott, you've been there. Mm-hmm. You know there's a first choice. And if you come in, you have that bit of doubt in your head where you're like, if I make mistakes, I'm out.
I know. I think it's probably a character at the end of the day. But I personally, been called before, I've not been first choice, but I was always wanting to be first choice. And as soon as I got that opportunity, you could put a bit too much pressure on yourself, thinking I need to perform, because then it just solidifies why I'm not the number one kind of thing. But I think it just depends on your character. A lot of the time, personally, I've had some decent performances, some very good performances at number 2, and you've kind of focused out raising eyebrows a wee bit, but at the same time,
you've got to back yourself.
Exactly, that's what I mean. You've got to back yourself. You wouldn't be there to settle. I don't know any goalkeeper that would go, I'm happy to come sign and be a number 2.
To be honest, I mean, see if you're going to a club, so take Owen Stott for an example. There's only one goalkeeper, and there's only one position available.
Yeah.
If you go in as a centre midfielder, there's potential you could drop back to right back, centre half.
You can. And there's also 2 or 3 positions available for you.
You can be maneuvered into. Goalkeepers, you're either in or you're out.
Exactly. It's not even that. Even if you're a top as a midfield player, you can still get minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You'll still maybe get half an hour, 40 minutes, whatever.
I will break you in.
And even if you know you're still involved as a goalkeeper, you can be frozen it for months and months and months, and it's difficult.
Just look at the senior. That's why Scott Bain has went to Falkirk. He's been Celtic reserve.
But you're saying that some keepers would always want to go and play. Scott Bain,
Scott Carson,
just about to say that. Honestly, made a career.
Champions League one.
Made a career out of no playing football. I know. Cali Locals double the lead against Blantyre, so they are now 2-0 up against Blantyre. It's really good there. Michael McGill the comments on YouTube has just informed us that Maryhill have equalised. So I wonder if Marks went in at half time and gave the boys a bit of stick for that one. They've had to bounce back quite quickly. We've got Shotts 0, Cumnock 0 as the second half starts. That does not surprise me. That's two teams who don't like to score goals. And the thing is, the quality they've got and the players that they brought in. I said it earlier in the season in the show.
I don't think it's his fit.
He won't score many goals this season. He never scored many last season. He's clearly a good player. It might, like you said, it might not be a good fit. Cali Braves have taken the lead in the Lowland League, so that is 1-0 to Cali Braves against Cumbernauld Colts. Quite an interesting one there. Two teams who are looking like they'll be the West of Scotland Lowland League next season. Yeah. So
I watched Cumbernauld Colts at the start of the year, and I actually thought they were all right.
They've been kind of up and down, I feel, as well for the last couple of years. Cumbernauld Colts.
I thought they'd done okay. I thought they were impressive, middle to front. I thought the back they could be got at.
Yeah.
Again, that doesn't surprise me about John Doyle team though. They'll be well coached and good football inside.
Yeah.
It's hard to do that and be good defensively a lot of the times at this level. East Kilbride YM 4-0 up against Wishaw. Bela Clyde 5-0 up against Nielsen. A bit of a going over today.
No.
It's come from the penalty spot in the 46th minute. To be fair to Bela Clyde, their Twitter have said that it was a questionable decision.
Right.
So a questionable decision.
It wasn't a penalty.
It wasn't a penalty. But 5-0 up, and it's Savarese with a hat-trick. So he's banging the goals in today. That's 2 penalties today for him, so it's been a good day. East Kilbride, Thistle are 2-1 up against St Peters. St Peters have really disappointed me this season. I thought after the end of last season they were going to kick on. It's just not really worked for them.
They had a really strong finish last year. I think they lost 2 of the last 10 or 12 games or something like that. Done really well, but they've started really, really poorly. They lost their first 2 games heavily, but 4 and 5, I think it was. And then I was like, that's hard when you lose your first 2 games so heavily to try and change your mindset and start bouncing back and getting points on the boards. We had a conversation about it the other week, and you were saying you think they might be all right and what have you, but I'm still not convinced that they're going to break into the top half.
Well, you look at, I was convinced at the start of the season they were going to. So did the win against Rossville last week?
See out the two Paisley teams looking through Glenville and St Peters.
Yeah,
I expected St Peters to be the better level. So
but to be fair, for the first two years they were.
They've stagnated. In Glenville are the ones that have jumped on. We watched them in Glenafton went to penalties the other week there. They're now middle of the table, top half of the table, they're pushing on. So
another promotion.
We look
at St Peters 3-0 against Rossville last week. I don't really think you take much stock in that. 2-1 against Killook the week before they lost, but that's not a bad route. 4-3 they lost in the cup to Cumbernauld. Again, you're saying improvements. 3-1 defeat to Irvine Vicks. Draw with Royal Albert. Again, a hard one. 5-0 against Eglinton. 4-0 against West Park. Today for them is disappointing.
Yeah.
Oh, 2-0 Renfrew.
2-0 Renfrew.
Oh, wow. Let's actually, do you know what we'll do? We'll go to the Premier League. We've not spoken much about the Premier League.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Pollock and Renfrew then. This will take Renfrew on to 8.7 games. I think that's pretty decent.
Yeah.
Pollock, if they lose this, which is looking like it, 6 points in 7 games. What do we think about that, Scott?
I think I'm being surprised with Renfrew, to be honest, this season. I always knew they would compete, but I thought in my heart, unfortunately, I thought they'd be struggling to stay in the league this season. I was expecting Pollock to be down a bit there as well this season, to be honest with you. I think they had a really tough season last year, and things have seemed to just slowly start going south for them as well. But I think it's 2 teams that will probably win about each other come the end of the season.
Yeah, I think
there'll not be much in it.
Nah, from obviously PG and I's conversations with Maxie, we knew where they were. They were pitching themselves back.
Maxie's never hidden the financial constraints he's under, and do you know, I can only imagine how difficult that would be in terms of, you get other teams who look at it and go, well, Maxie's got a 55-60 grand budget. I would kill for that. But when it comes to the Premier League, that's no big budget stuff.
And he's not get that.
So there you go. There's another cut then.
Yeah.
And it's really difficult. But at the same, do you know, like...
But do you know what, right? I'm going to flip this round, right? And see, as much as we all know Stuart's a friend of everyone, we're pals, and with sympathy, we're probably got. But bloody how good a result was that for Renfrew? They're on a minuscule
budget.
Would Renfrew be similar budget? I'd imagine it'd be similar budget
They'll be
to.
less.
I think they'll be less.
They'll be less.
You think so?
Yeah.
I'd imagine it'd be a similar budget.
No.
I'm
No?
not quite convinced.
Not at all.
Not knowing, but I think knowing some of the guys not in there, they'd be less.
And also, look at it as well, they're playing away from home until
Going to the Ants.
playing at the Ants. The new pitch has just started getting relayed this week.
Yeah.
They've been painting the perimeter fencings. That's been done. No, Renfrew will be the lowest paying team in that league.
Des,
by far.
you are better placed than me to say this. Is Jimmy Quigley one of the best Renfrew managers we've had in the modern era for them?
In the modern era, I think Mike Dunlop will get a lot of credit because they won the
Won
Scottish Cup.
yeah. But got relegated that season as well,
It was
Rob.
actually good, but the Scottish Cup
That took it away, aye.
glorified that. I would say over the last 20, 30 years, the two best Renfrew managers would be Colin Clark and Martin together. I think Quigley.
I would agree.
Quigley was part of that setup as well. So
Quigley,
so
Jimmy played them most days.
that's right.
Obviously, I was
Coached
there,
and
so-
then moved
Is-
on.
Again, I'll go further with that with Jimmy. Is there a bigger club legend than Jimmy at Renfrew?
No.
Because he was part of that team that won the Scottish Cup.
Won the Scottish Cup. Him, Brenty, Neil Farquharson, Neil Shearer, name the whole team.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? So he's won that.
So he's won the Scottish Cup. He's won the league. He was coach of the team when we won the league up at the Roch.
Yeah.
When I was involved, he's now went on the backroom team with Clarkey and Martin. He's now taken the team over. He's a Renfrew boy.
Yeah.
I was going to say he can walk around Renfrew and buy a pint, but actually he doesn't take any money for it. But yeah, I would say Clarkey and Quiggs, and the way Quiggs is going now and the budget he's on, yeah, I would say couldn't really have any.
He's the ultimate legend.
You know what? It just keeps surprising me. I've got to be honest with you, because I've been speaking to Nick, you know, all ago, and I've been critical, saying, I think we've struggled this year, just looking to come in, and then I've been proven completely wrong.
Do you know who I think was the best signing?
Surprising me.
Do you know who I think was the best signing Renfrew made? The best signing that Quigley's made? Ryan Boris. Bring him in.
He's high, exactly, and he's guys like that they know the level. The job they've done is phenomenal. It's really let's focus on the bottom half of the table, right? So as it stands today, we're at the start of play. Glencairn, Cullinan, Johnson, Borough, Pollock, Renfrew, St Cadoc's, Shotts, and Beath. Johnson, Borough. How bad a start to the season has this been, Scott?
I've been really shocked at the start. I thought last season they did a good solid season. I know some folk were calling he could maybe lose his job and us, and I thought that was incredible. But the daggers are better, unfortunately, I think, because I think that's the type of position you're in with Borough. You have a couple of results, and if these are good looking at moving forward, he needs to go with this carry on. But I think it's a disappointing start. There's a long, long way to go, though. They could go in a 10-game run.
Aye, that changes completely.
But they need to start picking up points quick.
Listen to the chairman's grandson,
Mhm.
guy who's listen to his. Basically, got a long-term strategy, not just for the team, but for the hub that they're building, and they're backing Murdy, and they're giving it. So I would be surprised if there was any knee-jerk reactions to change it.
Hope not.
I think that they would. I think
They've obviously looking like they've got the win today, and I think that's an important win, moves them up the table.
100%.
But for talking's sake, they throw it away today. They lose the next couple of league games. How sustainable is that? You get Chris Strain waiting in the wings, somebody like that who I think could really sort the club out. But again, no talking Murdy at a job, because I think that he's won a Scottish Cup.
Yeah.
He had a decent finish last season.
Done well last season.
So, and as long as they get promoted, I think that's all that matters. But I think for them as a club with the finances and the backing, top 8's not good enough.
No,
That's not a target they've got to be setting.
no, they're a top 2 and top 3 team. That's but no, target should be winning, and
I think that's
acceptable
what
is
we're
top. Acceptable is top 3.
I think that's what we've been looking at before the season starts. People have been talking about potential as favourites.
So
So,
Strain's been out for a while.
We'll get some goals coming in. Giffnock 5-0 up now against Campbelltown. Paulson with the penalty there. Girvan are 2-1 up against Glasgow Persia. Blantyre Vicks pull a goal back against Cali Locals. That's now 2-1. Cali Braves are 2-0 up against Cumbernauld Colts. It was Kieran Healy with the goal for Renfrew. Liam Lapsley puts Largs ahead at St Cadoc's. That's 2-1 to Largs against St Cadoc's. We've got a red card for Lark Hall. Is the day turning round for Maryhill?
There's another red card. It's now 1 each.
Oh.
With, Knightswood.
Classic referee levelling up as it is.
I've not seen it yet. I've not even seen it. I'm sure Michael will send me a video later. But it's 1 each. 50 minutes. 22-yard thunderbolt from the Dorai. However, Crerand has now been sent off from Knightswood, and Dorai centre midfield have been sent off. It's now 9v10.
Interesting. You'll see a lot of mistakes happening late on in that game with the numbers dropping. Ardrossan are now 3-1 up against Petershill. Gartcairn 3-0 up. Adam McGowan will go there.
What is it with Petershill?
I'm like, what's happening with it?
I've said I call them the Cinderella team, the ones that go to the ball and don't come home. Sorry, go to the ball and come home early.
That's right. Honestly, we were talking about it last year, and we were talking about how the team have just totally stagnated into this. We'll maybe lose 10, 12 games a season, we'll finish 5th, 6th. And that's it.
I'm going to put it out there with Petershill, right? Complete mindset problem. So the target was always top 3 to get promoted. Finished 5th, finished 6th, right? Now the target is top 8. Where are Petershill sitting? 9. Is it, and it's different managers, so it's not just saying it's Stephen McNeil. Who's in it actually, Petershill right now? It's terrible, I don't know. McNeil obviously left. So it's not just one manager or one set of players. This seems to be an issue they have. And that's quite worrying for them that they cannot get themselves sorted.
The best thing about Petershill that I remember is when you done your ultra and I was running, you never actually went up that hill.
So see when we did it, so I had broken my rib the week before it, and I hadn't really run much because I'd been injured. I hadn't run much for about 3 weeks before it, and Petershill was at 10 miles, and I remember saying to Des, I is struggling. I'm really struggling. I should not be struggling at a stage with 20 miles to go. And we got into the front, and I was like, I'm taking a picture here. There's no way I'm going up the top of the hill. I cannot be bothered going up the top of the hill, and I had to turn back. But to be fair, we didn't. That's why when I did it before, I went up the hill and went to the Roch that way. But we went to Fanat after that. And that's when Des started pulling the quizzes out for me and saved my life. I was gone. I was absolutely gone at that point. But a couple more goals coming in. Glasgow United have retaken the lead against Easterhouse. It's 2-1. Fanat are now 2 down against Ardeer. 2-0 to Ardeer. 5-0 East Kilbride YM against Wishaw. Meadow bringing in the changes. Subs, Ewan Baird, Jordan Baird, Liam Caddis on for Ross McKenzie, Aaron Miller and Stephen Tan. So Stan played for me. Good player, very tidy. Don't know if Stan's quite the level at the top of the first division though. Player like that, I think he's very tidy on the ball, but it's a hard one from Girvan. After losing the goal against Perth, are now 3-1 up, looking like they've got that game wrapped up. Gartcairn have sealed it 4-0. They are now 4-0 up.
They should run away with that.
The Roch will keep pressure on them now. They'll keep pressure on them. But Lanark having a tough day against Gartcairn. 4-0 to Gartcairn. Maybe it's because Dax no the other day. You think Grace, see the amount of holidays that boy takes during the season. Unbelievable. Giffnock 6-0 against Campbelltown. So the second half begins at Glenaft. Yes, he is. He is indeed. An equaliser, Josh Moore scores for Cumbernauld against the Roch. The Roch need to try and keep as much pressure on Gartcairn as they can. Coolside Rangers open the scoring. 1-0 to Coolside Rangers against Greenock. That's a big one there. Kevin Adam equalises, goal 199 for the club against Royal Albert. Nicky Little sitting on 199 today as well. So he's potentially going to go and get himself into that 200 club. 4-1 for Girvan against Perth. Now that's been quite the second half for them. Really turned it around. Cali Braves now 3-0 up after 16 minutes against Cumbernauld Colts. After his praise and Doyle, I think he'll be a wee bit worried about that. Arthurley score a goal. 2-1, pulling one back against the Borough. Can the unimaginable happen? Can the Borough throw this away?
It's not unimaginable.
Do you know what? That is not unimaginable. 5-0 Talbot. 48 minutes, 5-0.
that could be it.
Connor Boyd with a goal there. It's-
I said
Full
40
odd minutes. See, you still get 45 minutes to go for the extra time. That is.
Do you want to have a sweetie, a wine gum bet week one for?
Do they? Right, so you find this with teams a lot of the time. They take the
switch
foot off
off,
the gas.
Aye, I'm going to go 7.
7. Do
I'm going to go 6.
Right.
you know what? I'm going to throw this.
I'm
I'm going to throw a mad one at there. I'm going to go 9.
9.
And you
9. I don't actually believe that with a score, but that's what I'm going for. We'll go for a wee bet for the biscuits next time. First full-time game, a 1:30 kick-off. St Peter's 1, East Kilbride Thistle 2. Good result for East Kilbride there. And after Cumbernauld pulling it back, Ronan Kiernan gets his secondary game and puts Cumbernauld ahead. So St Roch's are now 3-2 down. Can the 100% record be gone? Yoker 1-0 against Glenvale. Really interesting one that. It's a cracking score for them there. Still 0-0 with Rob Roy and with Muirkirk in that game there. Largs are 2-1 up, as I'd say. Liam Lapsley with a goal there.
See, I think Largs have been in a sort of false sense, a false vision. Largs are always consistent. I think it was happened at the start of the year. I know they lost, obviously, Paul's their best player. They're starting to pick it back up. And again, they're a team in their own manager's image, aren't they?
Well,
dogged team.
You look at it, lost the first game of the season 3-1 in Largs, lost the second game 1-0 to Drumchapel. They beat Shotts the third game, lose to Hurlford the fourth game. So 4 games in, 3 points. Poor start, you're worrying.
Yeah.
Then they go and beat Pollock, then they go and beat Arthurlie, then they go and beat Wishaw in the Cup, and now it looks like they're going to go and beat St Cadox. And it's all the teams about them that beat.
Be better than me.
And that's what we need to do. Just beat the teams around them and get in that top 8.
Will Largs have the licence in place to...
Yes, I think so. They'll get the football
Surely.
getting in. I was down during the summer.
Yeah.
Just helping Arnie with his testimonial. The floodlights were going in. The new referee dressing rooms were in as well. So I think things will be in place for
I
them.
think so.
So it's looking, as it stands today, that'll be 4 wins out of the last 4. 4 out of the last 5, sorry, for them.
Could be up.
12 points, 7 games. It's a bit of a turnaround after losing 3 at the first 4.
It's at the right time as well. As you said, I think when you start hitting towards 8 games, 9 games, you begin to slowly see how your season can start taking shape.
And do you know the thing? We should probably hark back to last year when
Just as I'm saying that, St Cadox have equalised 2-2. Beath have gone 4-1 up against Glencairn.
Wow.
See, sorry, just to go back to a wee bit of rhetoric. We were talking last year when Auchinleck were
5-1 for the Talbot now.
No.
So there we go. We're all wrong.
But when we're talking about Talbot and how we thought that it just when they went right, they were coming through, and we're talking about potentially Arnie being manager or Whitey taking over. Tucker just went and going, everybody at the water and went, I'll show you.
I know, and it's been incredible. It's 7 wins for 7, 31 goals scored, 7 conceded.
At the moment.
At the moment, how impressive is that?
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. And by the way, his assistant, Alan's going to take every bit as much credit as well, because it's not just a one-man job.
No.
The two of them have done that, and Whitey for the past few years. It's an absolutely incredible dynasty that they've created down there.
Well, we've just had a goal. Toby's just updated me. Finart have pulled one back against Ardere. They're having a tough spell with a new management team there, but in our featured fixture in the lower league, we've got our first goal of the day, and it is 1-0 to Linlithgow. Linlithgow have taken the lead there, 1-0. After me slagging Lee Duncanson, it was him with a goal.
Was it?
It was him with a goal, so I need to...
Another goal for B. McGonigal gets his second.
Is that 5-1?
That's a really good result.
Wow, that's a really good result. That's half time in the later kick-off. Eglinton Carluke 0-0 still there. Thorne have pulled one back. Nathan McClelland with a goal. Nathan McClelland's not a player I've seen, but I'm surprised he's not a move.
Is that the boy for Enfield, Nathan McClelland?
No, he's Paisley based, I'm sure. But see, when I was in at Neilston, when I coached in that, we played against the Thorne, so that's 2 seasons now, and he was only about 16, 17, and straight away we got him like he is
a player.
So I can get why he's still there. Do you know what? Because he's still, I think he must be about 19, 20.
He's still a boy then, isn't
He's still young, and I think it's a good thing for him that he's still there, because you see a lot of players at that age, they step up and it can completely finish
Aye.
him for 4 or 5 years. I think it's a great thing. He's still there.
Craig Mark get a fifth. It's 5-1 for Craig Mark against Luger. Shots won, Cumnock nil. That's an interesting one there. It's Cumnock really want the opportunity to try and get themselves. They're looking to get top 8. That I think that's a necessity for them.
Yeah.
But you look at them. 7 games now. 1-2, drawn 2, losing 3, scored 7, conceded 7. And I said it a couple of weeks ago after going to watch them against the Borough. Defensively, they were really sound.
Mhm.
They were nice and organised. Swifties clearly got a good eye for defensive setup.
Yeah.
But they offered next to nothing going forward.
See, looking at them, obviously you're going earlier saying this, but it's like copy and paste for last season. It literally is. Like the goal difference last season, I'm sure, was almost
It
identical.
was just a straight line, wasn't
And
it?
it's the same again
Mhm.
this year. They've had what's that, 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 defeats. 7 conceded, 7 again today. So you're like, they're another team for me up here. So
Aye.
they just don't
They've
seem to
got
quite-
they've got the infrastructure, they've got the finances, they've got
Yeah.
the support, but they just
It's just something
don't.
missing.
And again, if they get promoted, then it's been successful. And again, this is just the nature of the show and what we do.
Mhm.
It's nothing against Swifty. When does it become unacceptable for the finances that have been put in
I know.
and to be
And it is quite considerable.
seventh, eighth in the league? Again, this season, that's enough. That's
in the
enough this
past,
season.
If you do finish in that
Mhm.
top 8, just say, right, you know what, at the end of the day, it's still a successful season. But
Is that a committee message then? So if I'm a committee and say, get promoted to the lower league
Mhm.
and we're fine,
Mhm.
or do you say, no, we finished, was it 7th last year? 6th
Yeah,
last year?
7th last year, yeah.
Which was the highest
Highest.
place ever. Go, well, no, I want to see
improvement.
improvement.
You have to.
I want top 5, top 4.
And you know, Swifty will be very much of the opinion we have to improve. You know that, right? You know that for a fact. But I just don't think it's no quite good. It's no bad enough. It's no bad enough.
No,
but
It's not.
it's no good. You look, shots today, they're losing that. Then they've got a couple of.
John McCune will have, because that was obviously.
To be fair,
He was at come up fire.
I forgot that this is how it works with the West of Scotland. We are going into cup season. They have the Med in the Cup, Renfrew in the Cup, Talbot in the Scottish Cup, which will be an absolute classic. Then they've got Ardrossan in the Cup, and then they're back to league action against Pollock, Arthurlie, St Cadoc's, and Beath. Now, for me,
That's a horrible run of fixtures.
but it should be that. If you're looking at that on paper, that should be the games that they're going to pick up at least 10 points in. But look, we're going to go to a quick break before we get close to the end of the West of Scotland fixtures, getting close to half time in the Lowland League. So if you want to get in touch with us, you can get us on 073 96 717 412. That's 073 96 717 412. Or you can get us on X and Instagram at SatFootballLive, or get us in the comments section on YouTube. And you want to ask myself, Des or Scott, don't be shy, get in touch with us, and we'll be right back after the break. and Scott Perry. Just before the break, we were talking about how we feel that Cumnock really should be looking to do better and improve on last season's performance. And as we were saying it just through the break, they are now 2-0 down to shots. And Scott, we were talking about it off air. The cup ties haven't been overly friendly to them. It's going to be a tough period.
Absolutely, as I said, obviously we're talking about the league form at the moment. It's not been great. Sometimes the cup's a nice distraction when you're going through a blip in the league, but it's not been friendly. I think every cup first round section fixture they've got as a Premier League team, minus obviously Ardrossan. So it's a really tough run of fixtures come from, but this could either make or break what's going to happen now.
Well, we're talking about Cumnock maybe underachieving or not doing as well as they would like to. Going to move on to, we've touched on Benb already, but we're going to move on to two teams who are massively underachieving. And Darvel have just pulled a goal back, so it's 1-1 with Darvel and Benb. How long is this allowed to go on with Darvel? Last season it looked like they were getting close to maybe staying up, but it was nowhere near good enough. But Mick was similar to John Gibson at Rob Roy, where you could make allowances for how that season went. 7 games in, potentially looking at 6 points at the moment. That's not good enough.
I'm surprised it's lasting. I thought they'd be quite cutthroat this season, Darvel, after the first 4 or 5 fixtures. Of like, not good enough. We need to try something else. But hands are tied a wee bit as well. Do you know what I mean? The budget has been drastically cut there as well.
Still a reasonable budget though.
He's worked with budgets when he was at Hastings.
I know.
And a bit budget at Ashfield. And let's be honest, Mick Kennedy chose him to come in. So last year, okay, things were entirely different budget-wise, etc. But I think that's why Darvel went from, because I think I'm going to work with a manager who's used to not working with a lot of money.
I know, look at Ashfield, look how well he did at Ashfield.
That's what I'm saying. So you can go and access the amateur market, access the lower league teams. What basically Darvel should be doing is should be looking at what the Muir Cup model and the way they've come through.
Yeah.
I don't even think they should. They've still got a bit of money. They might not have a lot of money, but they've still got a bit of money.
But they've not used it wisely.
No, definitely not.
They've not used it wisely. And as much as you don't want Bendy to lose their job, absolutely not. And I'm not advocating for that. But Darvel really need to look at it. I mean, they played 6, 1-1, drawn 2, lost 4, minus 5 goals overall. It's a downward trajectory.
Shocking.
See, the thing is as well, when the money does slightly start to dry up for Darvel, it is not the best capture money at all. What were they were before the money came in?
I know.
Right.
And it could go back.
They were one of the worst teams at the level.
Sadly, do you know what I mean? But I worry about them this season. I really do. And I think if they go down...
Well, they obviously can't go down this season.
Well, I know obviously things change, obviously, because you get 8 up. I don't know. I worry about this with Darvel because it seems to be... Over the years, we've seen this happen a lot. We've seen a lot of teams with a short period of success, money getting thrown at it. The money, obviously, still get a wee bit of money, as you said, but it's dried up to what it was, and then it's slowly just ebbed back in the leagues. You've seen it with Perthshire, happened with them. Wishaw, Huddleford, a brief moment about 10-15 years ago as well. There was money getting thrown in there. Granted,
at least they had a bit of success with it as well.
Exactly.
But you go even further historically. The Borough did it. Years ago, Cowannon did it. Maryhill did it. Meadow did it. That's what I mean. The history of this level is littered with clubs who have had money, had short-term success,
4 years and then
gone, and they fall back. I mean, Cowannon have finally come back. Right, the last few years they've finally come back. Maryhill have never returned.
No.
The Maryhill I went to Maryhill after they get relegated into the Super First.
I remember in the Scottish Cup semi-final against Pollock up at McDermott Park.
But you look at that. So I went to Maryhill in 2000 and that would have been 2008. 2008 when they get relegated, and they've never been back in the Premier League. So you're nearly 20 years now. I mean, it's...
And look at the players that come out. They'll Bexy, Brian Dingwall, Andy McClay. I mean, there was like really, really good, strong squad.
We've got a few goals coming in. Easterhouse have pulled a goal back. It's now 2-2. Can't even see who that is. It's 2-2 with Easterhouse and Glasgow United. I penalty for Drumchapel, and they convert for the spot is David Hopcup with a goal there. So it's 3-2 to Troon against Drumchapel.
Game on.
Jojo Gillespie scores a penalty for the Meda. Is 1-1 against Whitlets. Talbot 6-1 against Glenafton. Celtic B have taken the lead in their match in the Lone League. Goal scorer for Talbot, Kyle McAvoy. Kyle McAvoy and Connor Boyd, see when they score goals, they always win. They always win. It's ridiculous amount of goals they're scoring.
They're scoring goals every week.
Aye.
Winning every week.
Aye.
6-1.
Thorne have pulled a goal back against Les Mago. It's 3-2 now.
Game on.
You might be getting your draw in that game. It might be. Kello 3-0 up against the Ants. That's another one. Monty. What do we say about Monty? It's they get relegated last year, and I don't think, knowing the Ants committee like I know them, I don't think they would have rather it wouldn't have happened, but I don't think they'd have viewed it as the end of the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
It wouldn't have been the end of the world.
No.
But we're now sitting in a position that if they lose today, which they will, 7 games, 0 wins, 2 draws, 5 defeats, scored 6, conceded 18 at the moment.
It's not good enough, but obviously they came down a league, and we were quite confident they'd be a decent outfit.
Yeah, I was convinced they would have went back up.
Obviously, I've seen them play a few times this season, and when we look at the Port, we beat them 3-1. But Port got second year.
I wasn't convinced.
That because obviously I was at that game. If the Port had felt like it, that could have been 5 or 6. But basically, what the Ants did that day, and correct, like I was just about to say that. Correct me if I'm wrong. Went long to Anson, which is fine because Anson wins pretty much everything. But exactly.
You need
No,
play the long ball to the second man. Anson hold up. You need the third man.
and that's the thing. It got to the stage I actually felt the Port were almost just allowing Anson to win it because it was like there was no issues with him winning it, and he's doing his job. I was talking to somebody the other day about the Ants, and they said to me, "Big Anson's there, great signing," and I said, "I don't think it is. See if they had energetic runners off Anson, excellent signing, but he becomes the focal point for no reason, and it's no harm to him because he's doing his job. He's bullying defenders and winning headers." I'm right though, Scott. Nothing off them.
I couldn't believe it when I was watching it. I couldn't believe it, and then also I know a few boys who play with Ants, and one of the boys was telling us like that was generally the message was get the ball to Ants as quick as we can. And I'm like, but again, basic football. If he's going up there, people have to play on him. But there was absolutely nothing. I was like, surely that isn't. There's a guy that I work with. He played with a friendly for Monty, and Monty was interested in bringing him in. Due to his own personal circumstances, he couldn't commit to it. Yeah. But I tried to talk him back into it. He's an experienced player. Played with Maryhill, played with Bonnet.
Good player.
Good player. And that I would love to do it, but they need another dimension because it's one dimensional. It goes to the Ants, and I think if the guy we're talking about, I'm going to mention, if he went to the back, he would have given a bit of experience and a bit of solidity. But it's conceded.
I know it's so.
They need to show up at the back. And I know Monty's came from a 21 background. See if you're going to play at this level.
But do you know what? On the flip side, again, this is where it becomes difficult because doing this, you get to know these guys, and I really like Monty.
Oh, he's a lovely guy.
But my thoughts were when Monty was getting in that it was going to be a bit more expansive, but a bit high intensity, and that was not the case. It was very slow, one dimensional. Just go to Anson. No, that's not. It's not. They just. You look at the Port are a young side. But the Port are very aggressive in how they play. What's the right back at the Port? Ben.
Don't.
He's a good. Like I liked him. I thought he was very aggressive on the ball, wanted to get forward and support. Aye, and it's just night and day the difference between them. But we've got a couple of goals coming in. Thornywood, after being 2-0 down to Kilbirnie, it is now 2-2 in that game. Cali Locals, after being 2-0 up against Blantyre-Vix, it is now 2-2 in that game. Shots 3, Cumnock 0. Logan Hunter makes it Maryhill 4, Lark Hall 3. Glasgow United are now 3-2 up against Easterhouse. The Roch go behind, they get themselves ahead, they go behind again, and now with 5 minutes remaining, they are 4-3 up
Yep.
against Cumbernauld. And Des, I see you pumping your fist. What does that mean?
Yeah, it's the Roch again. No,
I thought the Renfrew scored, but 20 minutes remaining in our featured fixture in the Premier League. Talbot 7, Glenafton 1.
How long's to go?
20 minutes.
20
20 plus. 20 plus. Interesting one for PG versus the Pundits. Lesmahago 3-0 up. The Thorne 3, Lesmahago 3. It's a lot of high scoring games.
I think you'll find that I took the Thorne for a draw in that match.
Yes, but the game's not over. It might be a win for the Thorne at this rate.
Still nothing each way, Clydebank down at Gretna. Although they've had to make a substitution in 20 minutes, David Syme unable to continue and he's been replaced by a trialist.
It's a bit of disappointment for them because Big Sime's
He's an ever-present.
Rolls Royce at the back. I think he's a cracking player, really good player. Peter Silliff scored a goal. The goal scorer for the Talbot, Connor Boyd. Ridiculous amount of goals. Jack Marks makes it 5-1 for Girvan away at Glasgow Perthshire. Really emphatic win for Girvan there, and it's one that they'll be really pleased with. It was Taylor Evans gets his second of the game against Cumnock for shots.
Linlithgow still up.
Linlithgow still 1-0 up.
Still 0-0 with Eglinton Curlick.
As far as I'm aware. I find with...
On the money today.
Oh, aye, don't you two start fighting, plenty of time. Because that was a later kick-off, that one as well. Well, the Thorne, you went for the Thorne, didn't you?
That's what I'm saying.
Still plenty of time to go. It's Cumbernauld Colts now 4-0 down against Cali Braves.
Wow.
That is a bit of doing. 4-0.
I watched the Braves a couple of years ago, big Scott Forrester. I was doing a wee bit of work with Max at the time and was watching him. I wasn't that impressed with Cali Braves, but last year they seem to have found their feet, didn't they?
I know.
And they've kicked on a bit this year.
Are they not pretty much full time though?
I think so.
I know that Ricky Waddle, the manager's full time. He's full time in the. That's what I'd heard. Yeah.
It used to be. It was the old
Edu Sport.
And they had full-time coaching got the French guys. So didn't realise Ricky Waddle's full-time.
We have a goal at Clydebank. Matty Niven puts them ahead against East Stirling.
Yes.
3 minutes remaining in the first half. East Stirling being a legacy team, the only two teams to take points from Clydebank this season, Cowdenbeath and Berwick, the legacy teams. So I'm wondering if they can break the hoodoo. Still 1-0 with Linlithgow and Bowness. But Rowan Fitzpatrick with a left-footed shot that's held at the near post, so he nearly scores there. There's your former player.
Yeah.
Great. I always feel like the Lowland League, you don't get many goals in the first half.
No.
There seems to be quite, apart from the 4-0 with Calabrese, it seems to be quite
a late rush.
A late rush of goals, which is quite interesting, and the dynamics different.
So you said Clydebank or East Stirling, they're really Gretna.
Gretna, sorry. Looked at the badge for a distance. My mistake. Sorry. That's what I need them. To be fair, I need them. Left them in work. Largs, after being behind, then getting themselves ahead, and then getting level again. David Ramsey's put them 3-2 up in the 80th minute.
Good play, David.
To be fair, Largs do a really good job of keeping a lot of their better players. Obviously, they lost Folds this season, which was a big blow for them. But they seem to just keep going, and it's really impressive how well they do.
Now it's been 10 years.
I know.
I think that's just so well drilled. I think it's so well drilled that they continue to churn out results.
The Meda 1-0 down. Jojo Gillespie with a double. 5 minutes remaining. 2-1 to the Meda. That's a big one for them. Johnson Borough look like they've put it out of reach. 3-1 against Arthurlie in the dying minutes of the game.
That should be a good 3 points.
It's an important 3 points. Aye. Particularly, I wonder if they felt a wee bit of tension when they lost that goal. We've also got a full time at Lugar, 6-1 to Craig Mark. Thanks very much for the updates in that game. It's a very comfortable win. Stuart, what does Stuart McDuff do? I mean,
it's a difficult one because he went to Irvine Vic. No disrespect to Stuart, he went to Irvine Vic
after his dad.
A decent season. Because I'm sure, did Fraser know what was his dad?
No, Dougie.
Dougie, sorry.
Fraser's his brother.
They had a decent season, I'm sure. And then he came in and then he just went right down. I know he lost a few players, but he brought a lot. We spoke about it last season. He brought a lot of players into Saturday morning football. And I'm like,
it's not particularly when it's not the bottom division where you maybe get away with a wee bit.
The worrying thing is he kind of repeated that model at Lugar. I know a few boys that have done there for Saturday morning football as well, and I'm like, look at is no disrespect to him, but their pitch at times can be really, really difficult to play on because it churns up, but it's heavy.
It's always wet.
Exactly. And a few of the guys I know that do actually kind of normal level ball players. You know what I mean? You need people that are going to dig and gaff and fight in there and get every point they can get. So I don't know how long that can continue.
Fitness and physicality.
100%.
I mean,
some of the boys that no disrespect, but they're more tidy players in the ball and such. But I don't think
they're sitting 7 games played, no wins, 2 draws, 5 defeats, scored 11, conceded 29.
I mean, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. You can't but the matter who it is, whatever call it is, it's nothing. It's not personal dig at McDuff, not personal dig. It's no good enough.
No, it's no. That is the nature of the beast. Like we said a few times on this show. This is that. It'd be remiss of us not to say that that's no good enough. Vale Clyde 6-0 against Nielsen. I'm not surprised Vale Clyde winning. Surprised at the margin of the victory.
I think and I hope it's just going to be flash results because you don't see Nielsen taking hits like that very often.
Did not take a hit last week or the week before. I could be totally wrong. I'm sure they conceded.
Oh, have we look last week 4-2 against Kilburn.
4-2, so lost 4 goals. So there's something.
10 goals in 2 games.
Something needs to be addressed.
And that's not great. The drama is not finished at Dunterley. Arthurley have pulled one back, so it's now 3-2 in that game. Half time at Bowness and Linlithgow, 1-0 to Linlithgow. Bowness Twitter say a harsh scoreline at the break for the BU, a big second half needed for the lads. 4-0 at half time. Cumbernauld Colts are down to Cali Braves, and the goal scorer, who's the goal scorer for Vale Clyde? I was just getting up. McHugh gets the goal there. 90th minute, Jordan Pirrie sent off for consecutive fouls for Rob Roy, still 0-0 in that game. 93rd minute, Logan Hunter gets another 5-3 for Maryhill against Larkhall. What a game that is. I think we'll try and get Mark Young on the phone after that. That's a really interesting one. Cumnock pull a consolation goal back.
How long's left in the Arthur game?
The Arthur game, we've only got a couple of minutes max. It's an interesting one where...
Another one sent off for Knightswood, Zach Simeone.
9-9. Still 1-1 in that game, does?
At this minute in time, yes, 1 each. Last goal, 50 minutes, 22-yard thunderbolt. So, yep, no further updates from my man Tony.
Good day for Port Glasgow today. You're looking at, as it stands, Dorai 16 points, plus 9 goal difference. Port Glasgow will take top spot.
Yeah.
That'll put them into 16 points with a 15 goal difference. Knightswood, Glasgow Uni, on 15. Knightswood on 12. Craig Mark actually leapfrogged them going to 14. Ardero going to 13. So Knightswood will be sitting in 6th place in the league. But very tight indeed.
It's going to be tight. I think that top 6, I'm going to go elevate and say could be as it is, but maybe not positionally wise. Teams have finished with that.
But that's your top 6. I think we might get a gap. We might get a gap appearing in that top, because Glenvale losing today. Glasgow United are actually keeping themselves in that hunt as well, and Kello keeping themselves in it.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Crazy because the Glasgow beating them 8-1.
No, it was Glasgow Uni.
It was Uni. So it was.
The Uni they beat. So it's an easy mistake to make, to be fair. That's full time at Rob Roy. That is Rob Roy 0, Muirkirk 0. That's no great for Rob Roy, but a good result away from Muirkirk. Hurlford have doubled the lead, 89th minute, they go 2-0 up. So that is an important one for them. Looks like they're going to see the game through there and pick up another 3 points. Stirling Uni, 2-0 up against Civil Service Strollers. Good result for them. Civil Service are a funny side for me. They're sitting in 14th place, but they can go and win a couple of games against good sides and get themselves up there and then drop back down. But that's a good result for University of Stirling in the first half. That will take them up to 8 points if they can hold on to that and just get themselves level in points with Civil Service Strollers. Half time between Albion Rovers and Cowdenbeath, all square, 0-0 in that game there. That's Clydebank and Gretna half time, 1-0 to Clydebank. 6-0 to Vale Clyde. And an unbelievable save from Gordon keeps it 6-0. So it's Craig Gordon into that plays in goals for Vale Clyde. Full time with Beath, 4-1 to Beath against Glencairn. I think that's a really impressive result for Beath.
After last week's.
is you've got to be happy though. See if you're Mick, that maybe could be a wee bit of a catalyst to
Turning point.
because they lost obviously heavily last week. They lost 4 in the bounce, 5 in the bounce. Sorry, Paul, the only team they've beat.
Decent to win the league beat as well. They've been another team that have just slowly just ebbed back down the table
Since
year on year.
since Quigley.
Yeah,
Sorry, Strangley.
training.
It shows we've spoken about this before as well. It shows how good a manager Straney is. Managed to get 4th place for winning, leaves them to get relegated. Back-to-back league titles for B, leaves them, they just plummet. I mean, 6 points now takes them. With that score, it takes them into 12th place.
12th place.
Or 13th place, sorry. So Paul, we're now sitting. Beath and Shots are going to jump up to 6 points, and Caddock stay on 4. Renfrew will go to 8. Pollock at 6. Pollock's second bottom in the league, nearly a quarter of the way through the season.
Listen, they've been there before. They have been there before. What's that? They've been there before. I remember the Renfrew in the playoff. Maybe 2010 time or something like that.
No, it was after that. I bet them the Scottish Cup semi-final against Clydebank.
It could have been much longer after that though.
No,
Maybe before that.
I think it was before
Gentlemen.
Maybe 2008, something like that. 2009.
Last minute of the game, Eglinton 0, Carluke 1. Gary Stewart. Gary Stewart's he's been scoring goals this season.
He was offside.
massive goal there in that game. That's a huge one for them. In the 4th division, also Royal Albert and Irvine Bix draw 2-2. Red card for Pollock. Number 5 for Pollock's been sent off in a second yellow. I'm not sure who that is, but that's quite worrying for Ryan McCreath. It is Thorneywood in injury time, 2-0 down, 3-2. Massive result for them. Bit of a shocker for, I'm saying last minute, for the Eglinton game. It's only 59th minute. I forgot they started half an hour late. Silly Paul. Plenty of time for that one.
See, before, as we've said, Carluke away from home, defending the staff league. If they are genuine title contenders, these are the games that they win.
And if they win that, they will be still 5 points clear of East Kilbride. Thistle would take themselves 7 clear at Eglinton. Really impressive. Really impressive.
The thing is, nobody wants to
Oh, the absolute wind dome. The wind dome.
I've never been there.
I've never done it.
Oh,
it's horrible.
Honestly, and it's not that. See if the ball goes over, it ends up away down the hill and everything.
I think it's like 2 grounds in the West I've never done.
Where would they be?
Carluke and Lismahago.
I played at Lesmahago, and I played at Lesmahago, and with that game being on that day, no game of football should ever be called off. It was puddles all over the place. It was awful. And it's a shame for them because they're obviously in that valley, and it runs down on one side, and then you've got the burn at the other side, which frequently floods.
I remember it wasn't me. I'm not sure if I said this on this podcast.
Big shaggy effort there. It wasn't me.
It wasn't me. But it was Barry Cook. Cookie phoned the ex-West of Scotland secretary, Scott Robertson. Don't know if he needs to ever deal with him.
I know he is, but
Scott was, before he sadly passed away, Scott was quite quite a gregarious character, and it was raining ridiculous. And obviously, we're talking about Lismahago being in the ball, and there's a guy getting up the middle of the park with a canoe or that kind of stuff. And he phoned Scott and said, "I'm just phoning to see, is there a pitch inspection involved, or is the game on?" To which the immortal Scott turned around and said, "I'll tell you one thing, son, and I'll never tell you it once. There has never in the history of football been a case of a player drowning."
No wrong.
Finished 4-0-3, thanks to Ross McClatchy for that. Mike Cameron has given us a wee update. Says good result for the Meda, given their manager got taken to hospital last night. So I didn't know that with Jamie. So really hope Jamie's doing all right. Our thoughts are with you, mate. Hopefully it's not too serious. I've only not played in one in the old West of Scotland, the old juniors. There's only one pitch I've never played at in the old juniors, and that was Saltcoats. Never played there.
I've played there, right? So I've been a few times.
Only place I never played in.
What was your top 3 best pitches, grounds, etc. that you went to? Playing surface. Okay, playing surfaces.
So at the time for me, this is obviously going back a bit when the Meda were the Meda playing there, where the wee groundsman would stab you in the face for walking on the park with a pair of trainers. So that was the best. Where else was good? Beechwood was always good, but there was a wee spell when I was there, they were putting the irrigation in it, and for about 2 seasons you had dips in the park, which was a bit iffy, but later times playing there, it was excellent. It was immaculate when I played there in later years. And Newlandsfield, that was. Do you know? I never liked playing at Newlandsfield. I always felt it was a bit slopey, and I was never that keen on it. Maybe it's just because I get beat every time I was there, but
I liked it as a surface. I remember we played years ago. It was when you was in that Evening Times Cup final, mind. And I still remember the ref's name to this day. It was Grant Irvin, and he absolutely shafted us. Right, 3 men
You
spent
seen a bad game?
It's on YouTube. Watch it for yourself.
Sorry, it's continuing.
I know. And we were down to 9 men, I think it was. So against Talbot, it's going to be tough enough as it is. But the rain, it was a deluge, and it wasn't a puddle in that park. It was.
Do you know?
It was excellent.
The ants at its best was right up there.
It's really sandy now.
What's the worst pitch you've played on in the level? New Mains. What's the worst you've refereed at? Whilst you're thinking about it, I'll give you mine. East Kilbride Thistle.
That wasn't great either.
That was
Show
Park was horrific, and it was before that they widened the lines. It was absolutely horrendous.
I would say the best surfaces that I've been on would have been the Ants were up there when it was good. In Scotland, you see actually use it. So I'd say the Ants, Meda when it was really looked after, and I still kind of see Kilburn.
Kilburn was excellent.
Kilburn surface.
About 3 or 4 years ago, it was absolutely immaculate.
I've still got pictures of it there. The worst surface that I was on was probably. New Mains must be.
Do you know where else? See the Benzold Park, Tinto.
Oh, that was awful.
That was awful. We played in the year one of Wilston, and it was the last game we played at Tinto, and it was like a curfew.
It's horrible.
They knew.
They only did it.
But it was wow.
Before we go to our break, big goal, Darvel, 90th minute. Conor McGlinchey with a free kick makes it 2-1 to Darvel after being 1-0 down. Benb look like they're not going to come away with anything today. Bells Hill's perfect run is over. Bonneton beat them 2-1 at Rockburn, so that is 2-1. I'm surprised at that myself, so that's 2-1 there. Full time, Glasgow United Glasgow United beat Easterhouse 3-2, a really tight one. Villa Leven beat Rossvale 2-1 as well. So really interesting results coming in. But remember, if you want to get in touch with us, you can get us on WhatsApp at 07396717412. That's 07396717412. You can get us on X and Instagram, Sat Football Live. You can get us in the comments section on YouTube. Remember, we're now getting into our phone-in section of the show. So if anybody would like to phone in, speak to myself or the guys, don't hesitate to get in touch with us. And hopefully we'll be getting a few manager interviews. So we'll be right back after the break. in the studio by Des Roch and Scott Perry. Got some really interesting results coming in today. The big one in the Premier League that we picked as our fixture, Talbot have absolutely destroyed Glenafton. Such a convincing win. Linlithgow won up at Linlithgow against Bo'ness in the first half. The Roch had an absolute classic 4-3 against Cumbernauld. Les Mahego, after being 3-0 up in another featured fixture, 3-3 with just a short bit of time remaining. Port Glasgow have convincingly beaten Glasgow Uni, taking the Uni to only their second defeat of the season. And Carluke are edging Eglinton with about 20 minutes remaining in the 4th division. Gents, any surprises for you today? We still a bit of time to play, but any surprises so far, or is it kind of gone as roughly as expected?
I think
it has been kind of.
Well, I'm surprised at the margin of the Renfrew win at Pollock. I'm quite surprised.
I'd maybe go with that.
But are you shocked at Renfrew beating Pollock?
I'm not shocked, but I think it's a wee bit more convincing than I thought it would be.
I think before the day, now to the fixtures, I've probably been there. But do you know what I mean? I wouldn't have picked 2-0. Even games over, the 3-3 with Thorne, what has surprised me with that was the way the game went.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it bring back to 3 each, that doesn't surprise me. But the fact that it was 3-0 then?
3-0.
That was surprising.
I would tend to agree with that one. One that really surprised me is not the Talbot winning, but the volume of the victory. 7-1. Because that.
Yeah, I know.
Well, what did you said 7? What did you say? 6. So,
9.
but we've went in between for the amount of goals scored. So there's yours lots. But I'm surprised because Glenafton have been great this season, and obviously speaking to Paul Payton, he's given his hard work and the things he expects. I wonder what kind of feeling he's got after this game.
I think you'll just brush that last time. Talbot will do that to anybody, and it's been proven the way they've been going about their business. So that's just one. Do you know what? Treat it as a 1-0 defeat. We move on. He'll have his own private thoughts with it, and he'll deal with it. But the way Talbot started to say they've started the season in gear 5 rather than gear 3.
I mean, that's the second time we've put 7 past something in this season. Talbot could be wrong if you check the fixtures, see who it was. But I agree with you. If it's me in there, I'm the same. You address it because it's also not good enough to concede 7 goals at any level against any team. But at the same time, you've got to say, you know, it's a pick the fights. You know what I mean?
So
bigger battles.
St Cadoc's. So the Talbot have had in the cup last week 4-0 against Haddington, 5-2 against Troon, 2-0 against Beath, 7 against St Cadoc's, 4 against Arthurlie, 4 against Pollock, 4 against Hurlford, and 7 today.
Beath been the closest.
The irony of that, the team who at the start of the day were sitting bottom of the league have been the closest one for them. I mean, that's what 33 goals in 7 games.
They're just blowing teams away. That even the type of results, there's no even get this.
Do you know what's interesting? Seeing this Talbot team against this Clydebank team.
That would be a good game.
Well, pre-season, the week before the season started, Clydebank beat them 4-1. But it's 4-1 in a wee kind of friendly cup. But I don't think you'd see that now.
No, I'm saying that facetiously. But if I'm perfectly honest, if you put the 2 of them together tomorrow, I would still fancy Clydebank.
Would you?
Yeah.
See, the only thing I was thinking is going Clydebank, even going back last season, is amazing as they've done. They've only blown teams away. They were just relentlessly just winning games. And also that's a great mentality. But Talbot are also scoring a barrel load of goals. So
they're not conceding goals.
Exactly.
Who are they against? Who's putting pressure against them? You're playing against Nicky Lowe, you're playing against Nicky Little.
Yeah.
You're playing against these guys who are going to Davy Simon at the back. So I would take Clydebank.
It's
good game anyway.
Definitely. It's one we might see next season.
It's one we will see next season.
Unless Clydebank win, let's know.
I
know, because let's be honest, I think that the Talbot, if they can continue this way next season, they could be winning that league as well. I mean, that's really what we're looking at. But I'm going to see if I can get Mark Young, Maryhill manager, on the phone just now after their 5-3 victory against Larkhall.
Oh,
Mark, one of the most interesting games that you've had as a manager, just for us, based on how the scoring went today.
Carnage, mate, isn't it? 2-0 up flying, probably have a chance to go make it 3, don't take it, and then look, Glasgow show you what they've got, the quality of the tap. And to be fair, I'll be honest and say we were probably lucky to have it at 3-2 at half time. They've came right back at us, and bar a couple of saves for the keeper to keep us in it, then dangerous. No way you're expecting it at 2-0, but particularly after last week.
Did you give them a bit of a jag at half time? We spoke about it in the studio. You scored the third goal reasonably quickly to get back in the game. How was your team talk at half time?
Look, to be fair, mate, it was hard because you're talking, I know that cliche of 2 halves, but it was like 2 halves within the first half. The first 20 minutes, I thought we were really, really good, and we were just talking about that and just no doing the basics. Launch balls into the box, no picking up first, seconds, or thirds, and like you just can't get away with that at any level. So they just get no challenge their character in it, but I asked them to just go and give us a big half and shows what they've got. For me, talking with all the boys as well after the bit of the defeat we got last week, I showed a wee bit of faith in a lot of boys to keep them in rather than doing a bit of mass changes, and just reminded them that at half time and go and show us what they've got. And look, the lads have done really well. Like you say, get that. Looking at a boy picks up 2 yellows very quickly. I think within 2-3 minutes of each other and get sent off, and then that changes the dynamic of us. We got a lot more freedom within the pockets and the 10 zone, mate, and we've made a few luxury subs to the end goal. Look, Logan Hunter's come on and scored 2, and probably made a wee bit of that attacking difference. So yeah, I'm delighted with it. It's never an easy game with Linlithgow. I mean, they scored 7 last week, so you know the danger they've got.
Well, you've touched on Logan Hunter coming on scoring 2, and also Linlithgow scoring 7 last week. You guys have not been shy in scoring goals this season. That takes you to 25 league goals in 7 games. What's changed this season that you're so free scoring?
Do you know what I'd say? Actually, the quality within the squad, the competition, boys are so hungry. And look, this is what the 4th season we're getting into now, and I'd say the last 2-3 years we've been able to retain a lot of the squad. So a lot of the messages have now sunk in the way that we're wanting to play. I know we had a wee bit of a changeover this year with some characters, but particularly in the wide areas, we've just added depth and threat. So if it's not working within a game, you're adding real quality onto there. And we've worked on a lot of time as well. Within we trained a lot of the park in pre-season there. When you've got all that space, we can split, we can do a bit of shape, we can do a bit of shooting where the attackers go and work on the key principles. So we can't do that, and we're normal 3rd day apart for an Astro Monday, Thursday. So when you've got that space, I think that's been the difference. As the guys have been working hard with the forward players, mate, to go and score it, and key principles about when you're in key areas and where you're wanting the ball delivered, and it's just building those relationships. Look, every gaffer's saying exactly the same, but I'd say we're probably unfortunate not to get a couple of goals last week, but then you can't be 3-0 down after half an hour and expect anything for it. So that's all. That confidence is there with the boys. I say we've had six goals, 8 goals, 3 goals, 5 today, and there's been high scoring. If we get the ball down and go and play, mate, and that's the reality. We speak to the lads and don't turn it into a shambles or a battle or anything like that. We can hurt players. We've got some individual quality within the squad, and like some of the goals a day again are really nice play and really nice finishes. So happy, but as I said, that call was exactly the same, mate. But to go 2-0, 3-2, 5-3, it was a one for the fans, getting a bit of heat for the fans. Obviously, to be 3-2 down, and then obviously looking up to them when you're back in is a nice feeling. But we were there in the wrong end of it last week, and it's good to be in the right end of it this week.
Definitely, mate. Look, congratulations on your win, and I'll catch up with you soon, mate. Cheers.
Thanks. Cheers, mate.
It's funny he says there about the training.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that clubs maybe. I know clubs are always trying their best, but that's something that they maybe don't realise, that the difference of having a half part to a third part can make to you.
And the finance that it costs as well.
Exactly. It's fine margins, but as you've said there, obviously ran a couple of amateur teams and things, it does make a massive difference when you get the space. You can work on so many different things.
I'll speak to other managers, coaches and stuff like that, and what they're paying for the facilities is absolutely outrageous.
It's ridiculous.
Outrageous, and you're thinking, that's a mortgage on its own per week.
Okay.
Scandalous that it's allowed to happen though, and it's particularly bad in some places because I know what you're talking about, Des, and it's no good for football at any level, never mind just at this level.
Do you know what the sad thing is? Obviously, I see it a lot playing in the mornings that a lot of facilities are charging through the nose for places, but they're not upkeeping them either.
Mhm.
So, just daft things, for example, last season we would be training at Ralston and places like that, and you'd have 9 balls at a 15 or whatever working, and you'd be down the bottom end, and you'd have one ball but a 3 up in the corner, and you're like, balls are getting swung in for drill, you're like, can't see a thing here. And like, you're paying full price for this, and if you can't get it, I would be looking for money back for these places. I think a lot of clubs should be doing that. If you can't upkeep the facilities,
I know exactly that. That is the
penalty spots missing, all this kind of
you-
it's ridiculous.
and you understand that there is constraints and
Of course.
restrictions for these places,
It's all
but
business people.
you can't be charging hundreds and hundreds of pounds for a third day of pitch to not have your facilities up to
To
scratch.
know that penalty spot.
Aye.
I mean, somebody's going to roll their ankle. It's
Well, I've been hearing,
not good enough.
not through anything I've spoken about, I mean, like, some clubs are paying plus £700 a week.
How can that be?
Ridiculous.
I mean,
Absolutely ridiculous.
some teams can afford it, but almost
But
nobody
how-
can.
but how can you
I know a lot of clubs that just go play 5 sides now. They can't afford to train. So they just get a group of players together and say, we'll book a 5 sides part for them and we'll just play 5s. Because they can't afford
it's
to let.
And that's the thing. That's why you're seeing a lot of clubs are trying to get like asset transfers and stuff of certain facilities. Like Pollock Youth Club did it. I know when my time at St Peters, we tried to do it at so at Paisley. Going completely blank.
The racecourse?
No, the racecourse.
Andy's.
No St Andy's. It's right near.
Castlehead?
No, it's not one of the schools. No one of the schools. Ralston.
Oh, you do Ralston.
Aye, so we tried to get the asset transfer at Ralston, and there was a bit of pushback. And you're like, we have hundreds. I know you have hundreds and hundreds of clubs trying to, hundreds and hundreds of players who are going to be kids training there. It's
So obviously where I currently work is right across from St James's Plainfields. We know it's the racecourse.
Yeah.
They've now put, I think there's going to be 3 or 4 pitches.
is it opened up yet?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's opened up.
There was games on the other day. Just so as I was driving to work and came round and I noticed it was coming off the flyover. I thought,
And for
Good to
people,
see,
aye, and for people who like, obviously that's where we played when we were younger, right? Or being from where we're from. And now, like, for people who don't know that St James's at the St James's
I
roundabout,
remember I was young enough. This is how old I am now. I remember there was pitches across the motorway and playing on those 2 pitches. It's now like a
aye,
dog area.
Aye, because you've got the one pitch. You've got the one pitch that's still there. There's one when I remember when I was young. But for like people that don't know that area, it's near the airport in Paisley, where it was called the racecourse. And when we were younger, 20 pitches, and it was getting used every week. There was like dozens and dozens of games.
Morning games, afternoon games.
And that was taken away. Now we're at the stage, where it's literally just opened up within the last few weeks,
Yeah.
and you've got a few pitches there. But
I think it's probably 3 or 4.
4. See, for me, obviously, bigger picture, I can't understand how they've not built a massive Tory Glen type facility.
They should have.
You think of the catchment there, right off the airport, right into there. You can go indoor.
There was talk about the railway line going from
I mind that
Mhm.
as well.
James's
That was
over to the
never
airport.
feasible, but that killed it. That's what killed all these
It's
games.
a green belt area, and that's why they went to do it.
and it is, it's interesting. Look, I'm going to try and see if we can get Knightswood manager Michael Pender on the phone after their interesting game.
Hello.
Michael, how you doing, mate? 1-1 today against Dorai. 4 red cards, quite an interesting affair by the sounds of it.
Absolutely ruined, Paul. Absolutely ruined the inept refereeing, mate. Simple as that. Just ruined what would have been a good game. Great point for Dorai. Points thrown away by us. Keeper was sent off in the first half, and they're down to 10 men. And fair play to Dorai. They worked really, really hard. They worked really hard all game, but the red cards in the second half are just abysmal. It just ruins what would have been a good game. And he also missed a goal. We actually did score a winner, and he missed the goal. Said he thought it hit the post.
That's what we're dealing with. That's the level that we're dealing with at present, I'm afraid.
Where do you go with that? I mean, Des, you might be able to come in here and know a bit better than us. Even if there's footage of that show and there's nothing that can be done there, is there, Des?
No, unfortunately, nothing can be done. It can all be dealt with in 90 minutes. I said to you before Michael come on, I said I'm sure I'll speak to Michael later. We'll have a discussion, but I've seen obviously aggrieved at few decisions, and I'll always give my honest opinion. I'm not here to back up referees, and I'm not here to slate referees. I'm not here to give an honest opinion. Obviously, I had been given that information. Michael was sent to me, so I'm looking forward to seeing it. And if that is the case, then as I said to you, I'm not going to butter up and defend anyone.
As we can, and listen, I've had my gripes this season so far just about the general standard of refereeing and some of the things that are getting missed. Obvious things, and we've seen it all season. And but that today is that's laughable. I've took a red card at the end of the game for complaining, but I don't know how you're not meant to complain. You've actually how do you criticise boys for drawing a game that you think you still win? How do you criticise boys when they've actually won it? Scored a legitimate goal that the referee can't see. And we've got another observer down today. I think that's about, say later on, cheers. We've had 4 observers in the last 4 weeks, I think. It's like, there's no course of action for us here apart from appealing a red card. That you don't know what will happen with that anyway. There's no other course of action for you.
Well,
So to be down at the boys. You can say, listen, you've hit the woodwork 5 times, you maybe should have put the game out of sight anyway, granted, but they've done enough to win the game, scored 2 goals. It's frustrating doesn't occur, and then you wonder why you're frustrated, and then they don't show any understanding at all of how you could be so frustrated when you're missing goals. No an offside even, no a red. They missed a goal. It's abysmal, absolutely abysmal, and ruined what would have been a good game of football. And there's 4 boys picked up red cards that are going to miss even more football because of one man's performance.
Well, what I would say in that is, if you've got the footage of the goal, you've certainly got the opportunity to send it into the Scottish FA and say, well, look, this is what's happened. It won't change the result, but what you can get across is and say, this has then led to, obviously, you've been set up with frustrations or whatever. I wasn't there to hear what was said or whatever. But if you send that footage across, they may accept it, they may not. But what you can do is you can put across your opinion, you can put across and say, look, here is factual evidence. So that's all I can say. Obviously, fire it over to me later. I will have a look and I'll speak to you. But,
I appreciate it. Football, I can't fault the boys for their effort, and the same even the Dildai boys. I thought they worked really, really hard. But we've come down here today, we've dominated the whole game, we've absolutely lost it. We should have took some more of our chances, but at the same time, it's hard to criticise the boys when they actually have took some of their chances and done enough to win the game. So, it's how you portray that to the boys when they're trying to say you need to take more of your chances, but you actually have, and you still not win the game. So it's a tough afternoon for us, but. In terms of effort for the boys were excellent in terms of effort, but the rest it's a bit frustrating to say the least.
Michael, moving on to next week, you've got Gallagher in the Cup. How's that for you as a challenge, playing a team? You've never played low in league opposition, I don't believe. So how's that for you as a manager, as a challenge?
Yeah, listen, looking forward to it. Paul, we've got a couple of boys back for injuries well, and a couple of boys back for holiday and that kind of stuff. So minutes today will have done them a world of good. Looking forward to the challenge next week. We're at home, up at Talbert, lovely park. This will be an interesting one for us. We know how tough this is going to be, but it's a free hit for us. That's the way we'll approach it, Paul, to be honest with you. It's a free hit for us. There'll be no expectations on us. It's one I'm looking forward to. It'll tell us exactly where we are as a football team. And where we do need to improve on. So I am really looking forward to putting my wits against the guys next week.
Michael, thanks a lot for coming on, mate. I know it's a bit of emotion after that game, but you go and get yourself abroad, get some dinner, and turn that phone off for the night.
I throw it in the window, Phil. No worries, listen, thanks guys, all the best.
Cheers, mate. See you later. Well, what I'll say for this show is you do not get that anywhere else. Even when you look at your what's the what they call the super whatever they're called, they guys. You don't even get the same level of honesty on their show, as great as it is. But that is, it's how
You can feel the frustration.
100%. And see, the thing is, we've all managed and we've all played, and you've been there, and that frustration is so hard to channel, because you just get so angry, and he's got himself sent off at the end, which most days would end up doing. And the referees, referees are making mistakes. They're not cheating anybody. They're just making errors.
Just don't get it right.
Aye, and it's really difficult when you're in the middle on your own, as you'll know better than any of us. But it's hard to accept when a goal which has gone in has been missed.
Yeah, no, 100%. And by the way, see if that is the case, and I've got no reason to doubt Michael. Tony, who was texting me, I've got no reason to doubt. See, when the referee sees it, there'll be nobody more disappointed than him.
Yeah,
he'll be absolutely gutted. And if there was an observer at the game, then he knows straight away he's into a not a particularly great mark. But referees, to try and sort of explain it to the guys who are listening, referees take their games extremely seriously, just as much as players, just as much as managers and coaches. Referees take it seriously, they prepare themselves as best they can, they do their training during the week. The last thing they want to do is go out and have a game-changing error.
No.
That's the last thing they want to do. And I used to always say that to my assistant referees, and whether it was in the junior football or whether it was in the Premier League, I would say to my assistants, see if I'm the only guy in the stadium that hasn't seen this, you need to let me know.
Right.
Unfortunately, at this level where Michael's at, there is no assistant. It is only him. And if he hasn't seen it, he can't give it.
I think. Sorry.
No. You.
I think just talking on how, I think it's how the ref handles it as well, though. But often I'm not a ref, so it's easy for me to say, but I'm still playing. So I see the frustration for his side with some of the decisions, and we put some really good referees so far this season that will say, listen guys, I'm going to get that wrong. They say, but I'm only one man. See somebody just talk to you. And
You can accept it.
Like, you know what?
You might be frustrated, but you'll accept it a lot easier.
I'm only one guy. I might have got it wrong. I apologise, but this is what I thought I saw. You can't ask for any more. But I think last year I thought there was more of this kind of, don't talk to me. No, don't talk to me. You can't speak to me. I'm like, why?
See, that's entirely
That's
wrong.
the problem.
Entirely wrong. Right. So I've known you since you were what, 14 or whatever.
Yeah.
Even as a school teacher. I used to referee the way I was a school teacher. I would let kids call me Des. I would let Mr. Roch, and that, or if they call me Des, go, are you fine? Well, that's fine. If you build a relationship with the players on the pitch and you get it wrong, they'll accept it. And if I do something in the classroom and I maybe make a mess of it, kids will go laugh at you, but laugh with you. That's all it's about. It's relational. It's how you sell a decision. And see if you get it wrong and the players are not sure, they'll buy it anyway.
Exactly.
I know, and
it's just I'm wrong, I'm right, you're wrong. There's a lot of that kind of the day.
Aye, and it's quite concerning.
It's no good.
No,
it's definitely something that this is not a new thing. I don't care what anybody says, and you get managers of saying the standard of referee is getting worse. No, it's not.
Probably not.
It isn't it? It's like it's
an era thing.
It is. It's an era thing. We think that it's getting worse, and we think that an era before was better when you're a player or a coach or whatever.
So
but it's no.
In my era, people go, oh, well, Hugh Dallas, Kenny Clark was good. And then you come through, oh, Craig Thompson, Ian Bennings, Callum Murray were good. Then they'll come now, guys will go, oh, they would say Des Roch was good, but they'll go, oh, John Payton, Don Robertson was good. And then you're going to have the new guys, Ross Harding through. It's just a generational era thing.
I don't think decision-wise, as you were saying, anything's get worse, but
management is different.
I think attitude towards players is getting worse.
Quite possible.
I think that's getting worse, and I know refs take a lot of abuse as well. So there's also a fine line where they need to say, listen, I'm not listening to this anymore, I'm not dealing with that, and I get that. But there is also there is referees that come into the game with that attitude right away. I'm not listening to you, I'm not dealing with it, and that's that kind of attitude. And that's the decision. It's like, no, I was right, you were wrong, kind of thing. And there's no any room for negotiation. Now, the decision's made, I get that. But again, if you just hold your hand up sometimes and say, listen, I get that wrong potentially, but that's cool, done. But there's this whole, don't talk to me, and that riles up even more.
If there's industrial language and people are going, right, like, that's fine. I would run by and go, by the way, you're a bit of order there. I'm not having that today. So if you come back, and what you would do is if you're actually switched on, you'd run by his teammate at his cap and go, by the way, see that number 5? You'll have me shocked because the next time he's not getting a second
Exactly.
chance.
I think I would respect that. Look, I just wanted that one.
And your captain's going on him and
Exactly.
say, and so when you do him, he goes, he's already told you.
Aye, I know. Exactly. So I think you could talk about it all day, couldn't you?
Yeah.
You could, but I do think there's an attitude change. Decision-wise, don't see much. But I think there's a more kind of, I don't know if it's an ego trip now. I don't know what it is, but I think there's.
I feel that you get a bit that way with players as well,
Of
though.
course you do. Yeah,
It's-
both sides. Of course you do.
I feel that,
Less tolerant.
and I've said it quite a few times on this and on the podcast, that us as, I don't know what people would want to call us doing this, right? But us doing, I know, absolute clueless. But us doing this, we give a platform to players that we didn't have.
Mhm.
The clubs having Twitter and whatever, being able to put things out about players and interviewing players and managers, give a platform that players never had.
Yeah.
I remember when you played against Clydebank nearly 20 years ago, you loved it because you could get to watch the highlights.
Aye.
The Ants maybe did it as well. That was kind of your whack.
Paul did it.
Pollock did it as well.
Paul did it.
That was your whack though, right? And then now they're open.
Everybody's at it.
Everybody's at it. We've spent the last 3.5 hours talking about semi-professional football players and their clubs, and we're getting so much airtime here, and we have it with our shows during the week. Scott McPike does it with his shows. There's other guys that do it.
Your ref show.
A ref show, you know what I mean? We give so much airtime, and I think that people maybe get a wee bit ahead of themselves at times because of it.
I agree with that. Yeah, totally agree with that. But I think, as you say, it's a platform that's can only be a positive.
Oh,
Can
definitely.
only
Like,
be a positive.
You get more access.
You can't hide either. That's the thing. There's no hiding if decisions and that aren't going your way.
And
You
that's
hear about it all the time now.
And that's where you need to be brave. And if you make a comment, like us, we can make a comment here and we're talking about Campton people, Blantyre Vicks,
Yeah.
whoever it may be. Listen, we're going to get it wrong as well.
100%.
And when we go home, if we look at it and somebody challenge, go, yes, I back it up.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Or go, well, do you know what, mate? You're right.
Try to get
I
that
got that one wrong.
100%.
It's,
To be
you're, not,
honest.
you're not here to have a fight with anybody.
No.
We're here to all enjoy football.
aye.
Your opinion, that's it.
And that's the thing. That is all it is an opinion, and
At that moment in
at
time.
that, aye, exactly based on the evidence you have at the time.
Think differently.
I know,
Sure
'cause
about that. It's just the way it
It'll be interesting to see the highlights if they put them out and
Aye.
to see exactly how it's played out. But it's a 1-1 draw in a big game at this stage of the season,
I
and
don't
it could
think
be
next week- I don't think next week will be too disappointed. with
it could be an important point for both teams
That's the
come
thing,
later in the
like,
season.
because of both two teams that are up the top end of the league already, it's probably quite a high intense,
Mhm.
you know what I mean, atmosphere. So yeah,
Right, we're going to go for our final break of the day. Remember, if you want to get in touch with us, you can get us on WhatsApp at 07396717412. That's 07396717412, or on X and Instagram at SatFootballLive, or in the YouTube comments section. If you want to phone us up for WhatsApp, just send us a wee message talking about what you want to talk about, and then we'll get right back to you. And we'll be right back after the break. back to the final 30 minutes of Saturday Football Live. Remember, if you want to get in touch with us, you can get us on X and Instagram at Sat Football Live, or you can get us on WhatsApp at 07396 717 412. That's 07396 717 412. Or you can get any questions for myself and the guys on YouTube, file them straight into the comments section, and we're more than happy to answer anything that you want to talk about. So we're going to go to, if I can get it to come up here. Why is he not showing on this? It's annoying. We're going to see if we can get Adam Copley, manager of Thornleywood, on after impressive 3-2 win against Kilbirnie after being 2-0 down at home days. That's a result you'd expect, but not in the way you'd expect it.
No, I didn't think Thornley would be, languishing, that's probably another way, but I didn't think Thornley would be under the cosh that much. I know Kilbirnie did a great result away from home last week, beating Nielsen 4-2, so they've got a wee bit of impetus behind them, a wee bit of confidence. Thornley would having a good season. Getting in that game, would I have been surprised if Thornley would win? No, I wouldn't have. But it shows a lot of character. Come back from being 2 goals down to getting themselves right, not even just front, but winning the match and seeing it out.
I think they were a good season this year. I think they obviously they were probably punched above their weight last year, I would say. I thought they'd done really well. But this season, I think, could be a good season. I'd expect them top 8 this season.
Yeah, I would expect them to be one of the ones. Yeah, I would expect them one of the ones to moving up the league.
Yeah.
What I think Kilbirnie need to do is Kilbirnie, again, they're up and down, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a yo-yo team. The 1 week they're great, the other week they're not so great. And listen, I've got a lot of respect for the guys in there.
Yeah.
Love the club, I think it's great. I would love to see them get back up there, but they just need that run of consistency.
That's the word I was going to use, consistency. They need to have a run of games where they can keep stringing some results together and bump themselves back up the league. But as I said, last year was much the same. 1 point you're saying, could they maybe just get up and sneak into these promotion spots? And then the next point you're saying, by the way, they could be dragged back into the relegation. So it's fine margins, but I think they're good enough. I think they've got the right infrastructure and a bit there as well to push on and look. That's got to be their remit at the start of the season, top 8.
Yeah, absolutely.
Has to be.
Spenny will be. That'll be that. I know we said before about Johnson Borough going up and saying for them they want to be in the top 3. They want to win the league or at least be in the top 3. But for Kilbirnie, I would say get out of the league.
Yeah, top 8 for me. But I feel looking at the first division this year, obviously I've been very vocal in saying that I think it's the toughest league. I think this year it could be slightly different. I think with a lot of changes to the league structure, I think there's some teams that came down, like Gartcairn came down, so I'd expect Gartcairn to top 3, and so there's strong teams that will come down, but obviously you look at that and the flip side, you say Harville struggling, Benb really struggling. But I just don't feel the quality's quite as evenly matched. Rutherglen and Renfrew, all these teams leaving it. I think we're probably in a par with some of the teams bowling, like your Roch and all that kind of stuff. So
I think that from the teams that came down, I'm surprised that Darvilla.
Same.
I don't see a ton for them.
No.
And the Bends, I know they're obviously a wee bit better today. They need to make a turn quick, and they can change it. And I think they're in a better catchment area, a better surround. Actually, and nothing against Michael, but I can see Darville struggling, and I can see Darville going back to the old Darville.
The old Darville. I mean, that seems like a million miles away at the moment because obviously
it's getting closer.
It's getting closer. But every game, I mean, did they pick up points today? Darville? Sure they did.
Darville 1-2 today.
I thought they got a win. So that could totally kickstart their season as well.
But it has to jump. It can't just be a one-off.
No, it can't. They can't go and drop points next week again. They have to go and build from that as well. But that would be up to one of the biggest faults, I guess, I think, considering where they are, beating Aberdeen, and then next minute they're back to where they were. They can't go back. That can't be allowed to happen, surely. But
I think that is what will happen.
You think so?
I do as well.
I almost
go back to that bad though. I think it will go back to that degree.
I think they will be a They will not be a Premier League team. They'll be a Division 1, Division 2 team.
Second division team for me, I think
so.
And what they'll have is they'll have a decent playing surface that will eventually not be as good because they can't maintain it, and it will dip away because the finances and the infrastructure around it won't be able to facilitate.
just can't see it getting back to the way it was. Obviously, 'cause I remember the way it was playing with when I played with O'Reilly. When I was
One of the worst places I ever went to. It's, I remember playing.
There wasn't a light bulb in the referee's dressing room when I was there.
It was up there behind bank.
There almost wasn't a dressing room when I was there for the away team. It was awful.
The referee's room. So remember, it was it's not as now, but it was the old shed that you used to look at. The referee's room was like an end to the right hand side, and it was smaller than this. It was probably, if you take across that ball there, the ball is, it was like that without a light bulb.
It was awful. The thing is that the referee's dressing room is still really small there, but it's just been painted and it looks a bit nicer.
Well, we should get a light bulb.
Aye.
The light bulb is at least a start. You know,
It's probably a 40 watt.
Listen, at least you can see. But for me, it was up there, remember, hand bank.
Oh, aye.
That's a toilet.
Aye, it's just hand bank was just flooded constantly.
On bonk.
They've went amateur back. You know,
Aye, and
they're doing quite
quite
well.
a good amateur team, but they refused to come back almost. Because I remember when they dropped out, they were looking at going for just a season. He was there, aye.
They were doing really well for last point that season.
I don't know what's going on here, guys. For some reason, the studio phone will not accept Adam Copley's number. I don't know what is happening here. I know because
Is he deleted you?
No, he's texting me on my phone. I don't know what is happening with this studio phone. We're struggling to get it, so hopefully.
Speaking back to the Benb, but do you see them picking it up as well?
No.
I think we can just obviously previously playing obviously with new management and that, but
No.
the squad, I was so shocked in pre-season with the ease at times we were just knocking the ball about.
I know we spoke about earlier with Gordon Robertson getting in along with Budgie McGee.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we have Conic experience. But okay, Gordon took Yoker to the Scottish Cup final with the teams when we were that bothered with it.
Well, I get that.
I just think that there could have been a
better appointment.
Aye, and it's no disrespect to Gordon.
No.
I've met him a few times. I just think that something drastically needs to change in there.
Yeah.
I thought Paul Lovren, I know his work commitments, he works with the same company as me. I know his work commitments are big, but they need a Paul Lovren. They need somebody in there that's just going to go in and
Got the
strip it as it is.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I remember looking at this game pre-season, thinking that'll be a tough game, and it's no disrespectful to say it, but I don't think I think. Second half, I don't think I had a shot and goal even. I think I cut across the stuff and that was it. There was nothing happening, and I was real, and you can see even then, before the season started, you're like, this the right of the goal here.
I know that when Martin Campbell was saying to me, I know Chrissy Cameron went down
and Carson, that was there.
But that was part of the decline where they took too many Nielsen players who weren't good enough to be at that level.
100%.
The best one they took was Ollie Smith.
Ollie's a good player.
Ollie was also I taught Ollie as well.
Aye, I like Ollie, good player, but
he's now doing it for winning.
Aye, but in saying that, I think they'd have been better off to stick with that than what they've done.
But you look at what happened. I mean, they fell pretty quickly with that team.
They started really well, then drastically.
Which was, I don't know if you were in the studio and we were talking about it. No, you weren't. We were doing an interview and we were talking about how players does. Whose interview was it? That was Kendall's interview, and they were talking about how it's all right when everybody's got that buzz about them, but as soon as normality comes back, which it did for that Benb team, it falls away.
It all drops off. The same thing happened with the Winters. Exact same thing. They get that pick up, new manager bounce, I suppose, and then it just dropped off again. But I know Chris very well, I know Derek very well, and I know there's a wee bit more to it than just a drop off. There's a lot of things going on in the background, and I think if there's folk, it's enough.
Yeah.
And I can get that at times.
It happened. We've been there, it happens.
And I can get that, but I still feel if that hadn't happened, we'd have been in a better position. I'm not just saying that because Chris one of my mates not, but I do think they went through 3 falls. They basically, as bad as it sounds, they went through one disaster, the next disaster. You just hope.
Sorry guys, we're going to go to Jimmy Quigley, Renfrew manager.
Hello.
Jimmy, congratulations on your 2-0 win today. How are you feeling after that performance?
Delighted to go to Linlithgow and get a win. Hard place to go, so a really, really good performance for the boys, and probably should have been more. Kept a couple of good saves. Everybody, man, was excellent. So I'm really, really happy, Paul.
How happy are you with the start of the season? We were talking about it earlier in the show that you guys were obviously tipped to be one of the teams that would find it harder this season, but you have actually give a really good account of yourselves and shown what you have got.
I would just say to everybody at the start of the season, there's no really any pressure on us because everybody expects us to lose this season. Lowest budget in the league by some considerable amount, but it's really, really young squad. So told them to use that pressure to their advantage. The Hurlford game was kind of the turning point. I thought we were excellent against Hurlford, who are a top team, and they've continued that today, which is really pleasing.
Including cup games, that's 4 games unbeaten, and you're really starting to up it a bit. And you obviously touched on the Hurlford game last week, which was a massively, or 2 weeks ago, was a really impressive performance. What do you think's turned in the last month or so to really kick you on?
I can't really put a finger in it. I think we've been no far away in a lot of the games we've played in. A lot of teams have just been more clinical, which you expect at this level. I said to the boys today, like, if we'd have taken a chance today, I said it could have been 4 or 5 and nobody could have complained. So the difference between putting the ball in the net and giving away chances is very minimal at this level. So they've taken a lot of confidence in their performances, getting a lot of people back to full fitness as well. So competition for places is good. So hopefully we can just kick on and keep the run going.
You talk about competition for places. Next week, you are away to Kello in the Cup. Is that an opportunity for you to start bringing players back in who have been out the team and try and get a bit of game time in their legs?
It will be, hopefully, if the game goes according to plan. But the boys that usually are left out don't want to be left out. So I think it's a bit harsh on people. If they earn the jersey, then they can keep it. So we'll see how people train this week. It's going to be a big thing this season. If you want to get in my team, you need to work hard both Monday and Wednesday, as well as performing on Saturday. So if people are showing any signs of slackness during the week, then they'll be involved next week, whether they've started or whether they're not. So they need to train 2 nights this week really, really well, and then we'll pick the team accordingly.
Brilliant, Jimmy. Thank you very much for coming on, mate. Congratulations on your win today.
Cheers, PJ, mate. See you later.
See you later. Well, it's good to hear when managers say that, but we're going to go to Adam Copley, manager at Thorne just now, hopefully.
Hello.
Adam, how you doing, mate? That was quite an interesting game today. 2-0 down and managed to get a 3-2 win. How do you feel after it?
Oh, delight. To be honest with you, it was a crazy game as usual for us. Every game seems to be the same, but it was. We gave them 2 goals in the first half. Just gave them 2 goals, 2 mistakes by us, and we were kind of shot ourselves in the foot. But the second half, the boys were excellent. It's a great game. Great game to watch for the neutral. I'd imagine the last 25 minutes, but over the moon. We had to get that win today because we've got no league games now for God knows till October the 11th or something. So, delighted with that one.
What did you say to the boys at half time after being 2-0 down to get such a reaction in the second half?
To be quite honest with you, we were actually, I think it was if we were a better team, like in terms of the possession. We gave away, they had a penalty. One of the goals was a penalty, the other one was a wee kind of mix up with the goalie and Roscoe. And I just said to him, I changed the shape a wee bit, and I just said, keep going, and I'll give you all another 15-20 minutes before I kind of make some subs. But the subs, it was more to do with them just keep playing the game, and eventually, once we get 1 goal, it kind of looked like it was only going to be 1-1, to be honest with you. So it was the patience kind of paid off.
You're talking about your cup games coming up next week, playing against Premier League opposition Glencairn. How are you going to prepare for that one?
The same way we do prepare for every team is the same all the time. There's no magic formula to any different team. We've played against so many big teams recently, and our league this year is so hard, so every game's as tough as each other. I just don't think there's a massive jump now when you go to play a Premier League team because our league is that strong. So we'll look forward to it. It's another free hit for us in terms of the cups are always a free hit for teams that are not favourites on them, so we'll go and enjoy it.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for coming on and congratulations today, mate.
Thank you very much. Good luck. See you later.
Cheers, mate. Well, that's I quite enjoy speaking to him. He always seems dead cheery, and he's got a different outlook on.
He's always upbeat.
He is, and it's always nice to see. To be honest, we're going to go to Ian Kennedy, manager of St Roch's, after another interesting game today.
Fancy playing Talbot next week then.
Hello.
Kendall, congratulations on your 4-3 win today. It was quite an interesting one, just watching it come through on Twitter. How was it for you at the side?
It was a bit of a game for the spectator, to be fair, PJ, but for me, no, it wasn't great. We weren't great today. We were a wee bit off today. But you've got to be happy with the result, eh? So sometimes you need to win ugly, and I think today was probably the one out of the 6 that was really ugly for us, and still got there in the end. Though.
You must be, obviously, we've interviewed you for the start of the show today, but you must be unbelievably happy. 6 games, 6 wins. And again, today shows a right bit of character to get that result late on.
Aye, mate, that's the thing that I'm really pleased with today. Because we didn't play well and the boys know we didn't play well. To be fair, the part wasn't great. And Nizzy was fair enough with that himself. He said the same thing, that it was long, mate. It was really, really long, really slow. Didn't work for us for sharp hitting and that. So the part wasn't great, so I need to get it both. You need to dig in sometimes, and that's what that's it. So aye, delighted.
Yep, still here. Sorry, mate, you broke a wee touch there. You're moving on to 3 cup games in a row. Is that a good break for you? You're a bit disappointed as you're flying so high in the league just now?
Being honest, mate, I would rather have league games. I'm not really one for the cup games, to be fair. I don't mind them, but I prefer the league. I like the challenge of trying to do as much as you can in that. And the way we're playing and the way we're working for each other and stuff, like I said to you earlier on the day and that other interview, mate, that it's good. We're building momentum and we're going well, and I can't be happier. So to drop to 3 cup games, and I'm a wee bit, obviously you get a wee bit sceptical of changing the team too much for cup games, and then the other side of that is I want to get legs into other boys, so the momentum might turn a wee touch with this, but we need to expect that, and it's just football in it. So aye, that's what it is.
I suppose that's one of the things you need to deal with when you're trying to go and win titles and stuff. But look, Kendall, thank you very much for coming on, and congratulations on your win today, mate.
Thanks a lot, guys. Right?
Cheers, mate. See you later. Do you know, I spoke about this last season, right? I genuinely hate this spell when it just goes to cup games at this level. And I understand that it has to be done because there is different cup competitions. But for teams like, and I know it can be a benefit for certain teams who are struggling, but for teams like the Roch and your Gart Cairns and stuff in this league, it is such a hindrance at times when you are flying so high in the league and then you're having to focus on other things.
You just want momentum.
Aye.
And just want momentum, and I think Ian was quite right there saying cup games isn't the end goal. No. The end goal is to get out the league.
Mm-hmm. For me, this year they look like they could fall apart and it all goes the wrong way for them, and they'll still finish top 8. But this, I don't think they'll get a better chance in this. They look like they're ready for it this year.
I think so as well, but it just depends what part of the league you're in as well. The teams at the top will have a gripe. They've got all these cup games to go, and maybe teams in the bottom of the league will go, you know what, it's a good time for us to maybe reset and try and get a couple of wins under the belt, and then that could build momentum for us. So swings and roundabouts for me. It just depends where you're sitting in the league, how you feel about it.
Definitely. We've got a goal coming in from our featured fixture in the Lowland League. Linlithgow have doubled the lead. They are now 2-0 up against Bo'ness. Cowdenbeath have fallen behind at Albion Rovers. It is 1-0 to Albion Rovers there. Barry Duncan with a goal for Albion Rovers. But in the Lowland League, just to go back to that, as the games are still playing there, as far as I'm aware, Clydebank are still leading as well. That's looking like a really interesting competition at the top end of that deal. We're talking about the first division there with St Roch's and Gart Cairn really going for it. Clydebank and Linlithgow look like they're starting to open a wee gap up on everybody else as well in that Lowland League, and that's going to be could be a really interesting 2-horse race there.
I think they will separate themselves from the rest. I know you've got Celtic B, Hearts B, etc. and there who've not, both the teams who've not had the.
Sorry, Des, now 3-0 to Linlithgow.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that we'll find that the natural ascendancy will come from Clydebank and Linlithgow. It'll be down to them, and I'm going to put my West hat on, but I'm going to put my head on. I think Clydebank are a better team than Linlithgow. I can see Clydebank. I think they'll go. I think they. We've spoken about people going back to back. I can see. I think
last year you said.
We're looking at an interesting one next week. Clydebank and Linlithgow play each other in the cup.
Yeah.
So I wonder if a marker could be put down in that game, and you're looking at it and saying, this could be a indication.
Yeah.
First kind of blood being drawn here, and I don't know if it's going to happen. We had chats with Linlithgow about us potentially getting through next week to do a live show there. I don't know if that's going to happen. We need to see. Hopefully, it's something that we can get arranged. I don't know if their internet connection will be.
He says we. I'm like, first I've heard about it.
Aye, I'm telling you now. You could be going to Linlithgow next week.
Right, okay.
So that would be great. Imagine going through and doing a live show. Oh, we get us a tent or something. I'll take the gazebo with me. I'll take the gazebo and we could have a great time. But it's really interesting. Bonus have just pulled one back. Penalty to the Bankies. They're 1-0 up.
Nicky.
Will we see Nicky get 200 goals today? So we're still waiting to see how that plays out. But 200 goals potentially.
See fixture next week. I think psychologically you've got to approach it like
a league game.
Aye.
Mm-hmm.
I think given you know,
I mean Paul's got his
I think obviously you look at them, you're going to know they're probably going to be our closest rivals this season. So whether it's a cup game or I think psychologically you want to go with one up on them.
And Clydebank 2-0. Nicky Little scores his 200th goal for Clydebank. Congratulations to Nicky. That is nothing short of phenomenal. 200 goals. The amount of goals he scores consistently.
Guy who's not an out and out exactly.
No.
So I've got the statistics here. 2015-16 season, 32 appearances. Well, 30. I'll include substitute appearances. 34 appearances, 21 goals. Next season, 33 appearances, 21 goals. 18-19, 36 appearances, 28 goals. 19-20, 36 appearances, 18 goals. 2021 COVID season, 8 appearances, 7 goals. 21-22, 46 appearances, 20 goals. 22-23, 34 appearances, 28 goals. 23-24, 33 appearances, 16 goals. 24-25 last season, 44 appearances, 34 goals.
He's over a goal per 2 games.
And miles past that. And
about 1.6.
this season,
must be.
This season is his 10th appearance and his 7th goal.
Oh,
and do you know what really impresses me? Not one red card.
He's available. How many games he plays as well?
I know.
He doesn't pick up injuries either. He just seems to keep coming.
So
that's 10-year period. You said that.
10-year period, 15-16 season to 25-26. He has now bagged 200 goals.
What age is Nicky?
32, 33.
He's went up into the Lowland League and he's just completely continued where he left off. So
bear in mind that a couple of seasons where it wasn't working at other clubs.
He had a short spell at Paul that didn't quite work for him. You take the COVID season into account where he scored 7 out of 8. I mean, we could be sitting looking at Nicky reaching 250 this season if the COVID season hadn't happened.
And see, to be fair to Nicky, he's shown loyalty. Because I'm sure.
I know he said people ask him to move.
Big offers.
And do you know the thing is, what I like just now is his loyalty has been repaid in terms of what Clydebank have done and moved up.
He's getting it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean,
his dad used to work with me, and he told me how much he enjoys it. Yeah.
It's just
that's refreshing to see as well. But he could have, as you said, nicked away somewhere, took the money, carry on, he stayed with us, and he's reaped his rewards.
And the thing is, you mentioned money. There have been times where Clydebank would have been nowhere near paying big money. Right? Yeah. They might be now, but again, that's a benefit and a reward for him after all his hard work, and it's incredible. And we get full time result with the Eglinton game, 1-0 to Carluke. So to be honest, we're going to have let's have a wee look to see the score. So
we've won the miles though.
He's saying that because he knows he's won.
No, I don't think so, because it depends on the Linlithgow. No, that game's we both had. It depends on the final score at Thorne. So if it's finished 3 each, I've not seen a full time result, but if it's finished 3 each, then we're looking like we're on a tie today. So let's see.
It's a tie because you went we went Eglinton.
So 3-3. So both went for Linlithgow, both correct. Both gone for Auchinleck Talbot. I think the Talbot won that one. Both went for the Roch, correct. I went for Les Mahego, you guys went for the draw, so you were correct, you're 1 up. Both went for the Port, correct. I went for Carluke and you went for Eglinton. So there you go. We had a 5-5 today. 5-5, still 2-1 to Super PG. And 3-1.
You know he's
on
going
the quiz.
You know he's going to be saying that to be losing. He's talking about bed.
Oh, your dad knows the score, son. He can get some games right.
Well, he's telling somebody a W.
We'll get back to that.
No. But look, it's been another interesting day. Great news for Nicky. I think we'll maybe need to wait to next week for Kevin Adam to get his 200 goals, which do you know, I'm going to say something, right, and it will offend Kevin, right, and I do not mean it to offend him at all.
He just says it's going to offend them, but I don't mean it.
I do not mean it to offend him, but I tell you what, Kevin is not in the best shape that he could ever have been, right? But what a goal scorer he is. Now you would look at him and say, that guy you can't be putting him in your team. He scores goals. He got them a point today with his goal.
He says that about Chris Boyd for years.
Exactly. Scores goals.
Exactly, but that's the thing, is goals.
Goals win games.
I mean, and again, he's another one who's shown incredible loyalty to Irvine Vixen.
Massive. Few did offers as well, you know.
Yeah, 200 goals at a club like Irvine Vix. I mean, that is
He must be in a
sensational.
corner or something.
Aye, it must be.
It would have been difficult to stay there, let's be honest.
I know.
They did a lot of tough times.
I know.
He stuck it out again. Fair play to him.
Nah, you've got to take your hat off to players where it's like, because we mentioned, obviously, we're talking off camera about Ronnie at the Ants. And I know, like, we're both mates with Ronnie, and I know that he, Ronnie McDonald, who people know at the Ants, was an absolute legend there, stayed there for a long time.
Martin Clark tried to
And stayed there for nothing.
I know.
Just loved the club. And the guy's an absolute hero at the club, decided to stay. Cost a goal a day, Scott, but let's be honest.
Ronnie
putting his hand up, letting a runner go, and then blaming somebody else. It's no like him. But look, guys, it's been another great episode. Putting you on the spot, result of the day, Scott. What is your result of the day? And it might not even be the score, just the importance of the result. Renfrew 2-0. Des? Renfrew. I'm going to go for St Roch's getting that late winner against Cumbernauld.
Do you know what? If you push it to me, I would say Carluke beating Eglinton and making that gap. To make sure, just to cement, to say, this is where we are.
There's been a few.
Look, for me, that's a great place to finish the show on. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, for giving us your comments on YouTube. It's really appreciated. For the updates on the WhatsApp for the people who I don't always get to mention. Thank you very much for contributing to the show. You make it what it is. Remember, on Pyramid Promotions this week, Johnny isn't going to be live tomorrow night. He's got some nonsense on about NFL or something like that. So he will be doing his solo show on Monday. Make sure to tune in and listen to that. Hopefully, we're going to have our Football League show back this week. Hopefully, Paul will be back this week, and Shay and Brooklyn will be having another show for the All Talk Scottish Premiership. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for always tuning in on the channel as well, and contributing to everything we do. We really appreciate it. And I hope that you all have a lovely weekend and enjoyed whatever game you were watching this week. Thank you very much for coming, and we'll see you next week.